guess the places that I've been. You never guess the places that I've been. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. I'm never gonna let the day begin. Never gonna let the day begin. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, and I'll just make this bed my home. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. Better from above. Nothing's ever as it seems, yeah, except in that world that I dream of. Never gonna lose the ones I love. Never gonna lose the ones I love. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that world that I dream of. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, 'cause I can't face this day alone. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. Give me my dreams. Give me my dreams.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. The man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in 2022 pled guilty to avoid the death penalty.
Brian Kohberger's trial was set to start in August, but a hearing has been set for Wednesday where he's expected to plead guilty. The plea deal will allow him to avoid the death penalty. He would serve life in prison without the possibility of parole. Kohberger is accused in the stabbing deaths of Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, Kayla Gonsalves, and Ethan Chapin. I'm Brad Ford.
The Sean Diddy Combs jury is returning tomorrow morning after deliberating for 5.5 hours today.
The foreperson sent 2 notes to the judge Monday, one expressing concern that juror 25 can't follow the judge's instructions on the law. He sent a note back saying they're legally obligated to do so and to continue deliberating. They did, and sent another note to the judge just before they adjourned, asking about the distribution of controlled substances. The 8-man, 4-woman jury is deciding Diddy's fate in his federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial. The music mogul is pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he could face life behind bars. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Americans looking for jobs are being influenced by their debt when it comes to their career choices.
A report by resume template site Zeti says 38% of survey respondents said they took a second job to pay their debts. Similarly, 37% said they took a job outside their industry or took positions they had no interest in just to pay debts. Zeti data shows that 71% of respondents have credit card debt, 37% have mortgage debt, 30% have an auto loan, and 23% have student loans. I'm Mark Mayhew.
AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gasoline is $3.18. Mono County, California is up to $5.85 a gallon, while Simpson County, Mississippi is down to $2.51. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
With all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police. At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.
The Justice Department said a hacker working for the Sinaloa cartel found an FBI official's phone records and used Mexico City surveillance cameras to track and kill agency informants.
The hacker worked for a cartel run by El Chapo. The hacker gained access to calls made and received by the official, as well as geolocation data. The hacker also used Mexico City's camera system to follow the FBI official and identify everyone he met with. The DOJ report said the cartel used that information to intimidate and kill potential sources. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
A man from Iowa City who fled to Jordan with the help of his parents to avoid an attempted murder charge is now going to face a bench trial.
Ali Yunus waived his right to a jury trial Friday in Johnson County Court. A judge will now decide his fate on charges of choking a woman until she lost consciousness during a robbery on the University of Iowa campus 3 years ago. I'm Craig Michaels.
A new app could play a key role in detecting wildfire hotspots and high smoke exposure.
Researchers at Harvard developed smart flames to identify where fires are more likely to burn, as well as where public health impacts are highest. They looked at Northern California's wildfire season in 2020 and found that areas treated with prescribed burns did not overlap with high-risk areas. If lands were targeted better, smoke exposure in the area would have decreased by 17%. The app can be used by policymakers to implement management strategies like prescribed burns. I'm Chris Caraccio.
And I'm Anthony Lucero, USA Radio News.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
product claims without proof.
Every trucker on the road has heard product claims about an additive that simply didn't match their experience. Proof is found from third-party testing by a recognized, credible source. That's proof. Hot Shot Secret's Stiction Eliminator will improve your performance and fuel economy. For proof, we engaged the Ohio State University Center of Automotive Research to conduct an EPA-certified fuel economy test with Stiction Eliminator on a FedEx truck, a 2006 P500 Freightliner with 247,000 miles. The test showed a 3.6% increase in highway driving fuel economy from Stiction Eliminator, an oil additive. The complete report from OSU is available for download at hotshotsecret.com. That's proof.
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Another dark night on the interstate. Another 100 miles in the pouring rain. These are worth all the time I've spent away. Another dark night on the interstate. I'm driving through the year, trying to make it right. My baby's at home, hope she's doing alright. Miss my dogs and I miss my girls. I'm 1,000 miles away from my old world.
All right, without further ado, it is that time once again. So, here we go. Are you ready for a new day? Or better yet, are you ready for the month of July? Yeah, as we crossed over the midnight hour in the Eastern time zone, that's what I see. 7/1 of 2025, first day of July. So hi there, welcome aboard the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios. All right, a cloudy night. Yeah, had some showers off and on throughout the day Monday, and I don't know, local forecast tells us we've got some rainy days ahead, off and on. Yeah, then again, making our way toward Independence Day. Ready or not, going to be a big travel week. Some folks already getting the jump, hitting the highways and byways. Where might we see some disruptions and slowdowns for those early travelers? Well, there's a number of areas actually tonight. We got some stronger storms, severe thunderstorms in southeastern Pennsylvania. Yeah, Philly Dan in the mix with some of those stronger storms at this hour. Yeah, it's a rainy night in central and upstate New York as well. Spotty showers through parts of Virginia, Ohio. A better organized cluster of showers and thunderstorms. South central Illinois, moving into southwestern portions of Indiana. You'll find spotty showers and some heavier storms, heavy rain. Yeah, I saw some of that moving through western Tennessee. A line of showers and thunderstorms stretching from west central Arkansas through southern Oklahoma. And there in the state of Texas, once again, you find yourself with some heavier rainfall tonight as we roll into a Tuesday. And that's going to be the case. You know, rounds of stronger storms, winds, hail, flooding concerns focused on the central and eastern states, where we still have some of that hot, humid air across that region, clashing with an advancing cool boundary early this week. Some of these storms will continue to turn severe, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Here for a Monday night, a couple of zones we're watching. The first zone, which I mentioned, the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic region. Yeah, storms overnight could produce some flash flooding, hail, and some damaging winds. Thunderstorms for the day ahead Tuesday, focused across a dozen states in the eastern U.S. as that cool front moves toward the East Coast. Thunderstorms from North Carolina northward all the way into western Massachusetts and western New Hampshire could be severe Tuesday afternoon and evening. Flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, the primary threats in any of those storms that erupt. According to AccuWeather, these storms could be some of the slow-moving, impacting the evening commute along parts of the I-95 corridor. New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Worst of the storms may focus on a corridor from southeastern Pennsylvania into northeastern Virginia. Now, because of the cluster of major airport hubs, of course, in the Mid-Atlantic, flights in, out, or connecting through the region may run into some delays and cancellations as those storms pass through during the afternoon and evening today. Depending on the concentration of severe weather, crews and aircraft may be displaced enough to affect the timeliness of flights elsewhere across the country, and even some of those headed overseas. Looks like another round of gusty, locally severe thunderstorms will kind of reload further to the north and west over the Great Lakes region as we head toward midweek here, Wednesday. And of course, Wednesday and Thursday expected to be some of the busiest travel days for the Independence Day weekend. Thursday, that same frontal system that is expected to set off some of the midweek storms will shift into the northeast with a similar array of thunderstorms that could bring some hail, torrential downpours, and some strong wind gusts. I guess we could just say, as is on any big travel weekend, pack your patience. Patience, my friend, patience. You want to get there safely and home as well. But seeing as we are rolling into a Tuesday, we're getting close enough to the holiday weekend as to where we've got a better understanding, a breakdown. Who will see the best weather conditions for fireworks displays, parades, and outdoor gatherings, firing up the grill. Of course, a lot of folks are going to be headed to the campgrounds, many headed to the beaches, all those popular destinations around the country. We'll break that down from our friends at AccuWeather here just ahead. First things first, hello to the tapeworm. Good morning from Grantsville, Maryland tonight. 67 degrees, some drizzle, a little bit of fog. We've shut her down for the night tonight. All right. Hello to Brett. Good morning from the Mile High City. Clear, 68 degrees. Hope everybody has a good Tuesday. We're looking forward to the extended weekend. Thanks to all the first responders out there keeping us safe. And, of course, all the overnight workers keeping this world a-turning 24/7. Happy Taco Tuesday. Good morning, crew. There's Philly Dan checking in. Are you playing in the rain? Some of the storms there. See some of those warnings there in southeast PA. Marianne in the house. Morning, Steve, the overnight family. Happy Taco Tuesday. Rubber Duck. I win again, he says. Home sweet home. I had got one car from Mishawaka. It's done for the week. That means it's boating time. All right, safe boating there, Rubber Duck. Have fun. I-95 southbound. Hello, Shorty. Savannah, Georgia with 80 degrees at this hour. A muggy night, right? Orlando, turnaround number 1 as he gets his week started here. Hello to Tank. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. 81, windy here in Holbrook, Arizona tonight. Had a lot of rain across New Mexico. We are rolling west into Fontana. Truck safe. Have a blessed day. Hello to James, a.k.a. James Brown. Larry's on board. Good afternoon. Hammer down. Be safe, drivers out there. Double trucker in Lodi. I also ran through some torrential downpours on the way down. Right now, we wait for the meat driver. I'll tune in later on the way back to Western New York via the home of free speech, Rumble. All right, Michael Johnson on board. Good to have you with us. Hello to Bill, who says, good morning, 70 degrees. Feels like 67. We actually have a little bit of a wind chill here in Horicon, Wisconsin tonight. Yeah, there was a miracle this afternoon outside of today. A 15-year-old with his learner permit was out driving with his dad, missed. Didn't stop at the stop sign, crashed into the fuel tank of a J.B. Hunt truck, causing the diesel to catch fire and hitting another car. Surprisingly, no one seriously hurt or killed. As he said, okay, miracle out there. Be safe, drivers. Brett, hello, driving through Nevada. 375 extraterrestrial highway tonight. Watching very careful. Smash the cows because the no range. All right, it is 844-844-3388. Hope your week's off to a good start. I know many looking for a short work week. There's the boss man checking in from Central Illinois tonight. Good to have you with us. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Fuel additives.
the purpose behind most fuel additives is to impact performance of your diesel or provide protection to your fuel system. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment provides both performance enhancement and protection with 6 key components. This fully formulated premium fuel treatment includes the performance-enhancing cetane boost, injector cleaner, and LX4 lubrication, as well as protection against water with a demulsifier and rust inhibitor, plus a stabilizer that minimizes fuel filter clogs. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Hello, Big T here with Diesel Power Group. Listen, if your truck's in a repair center and you think it's being misdiagnosed or worse, being overcharged for an overhaul or an engine replacement? You need to stop and call Diesel Power Group now. Allow us to build the DPG solution that is right for you, not the repair center. We have over 4 decades in engine remanufacturing experience and specialize in Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Mack, International, and John Deere. DPG offers an industry-leading warranty and turnaround times. We want to earn your trust every day. Don't believe us? Challenge us today by calling 574-594-5888 or visit us at dieselpowergroup.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are available 24/7. Mention code 374 and receive a $200 rebate towards your major failure repair.
Bring you up to speed on here. Industry headlines, yet another day, final day of June. A flurry of rulings coming down via the Supreme Court of the United States. The update on the ambush of firefighters in Idaho that occurred over the weekend. They're in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. More on that. And of course, the big beautiful bill. Where do we stand? It's been a long day, which is turning into a long night in Washington, D.C. Do the Republicans have the votes? Numerous reports saying at this moment in time they may not be able to get it across the finish line in the Senate. And then with some of the changes being made, questions about will the House be willing to go along with ultimately the Senate's altered version of what they sent over a number of weeks ago. We'll bring that your way ahead as well. Yeah, I don't know. Are we closing out the greatest day of the week? Hello, Captain Ron.
Well, it ain't really the greatest day of the week, but it's the start day of all the other slow trucks coming out here with me. Agrit and UPS, some of the UPS, all the UPS I can't even keep up with anymore. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. How about that imposter last night? He did a pretty good job, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Well, how about you? Give us a full report. Did they find anything today?
No, I went in. They scheduled an MRI, but of course that's not going to happen until September. I'm going to try to call some more places tomorrow and see if I can get in sooner.
Okay.
I think the doctor kind of wanted me to stay in the hospital so that they could work me in faster that way, but I didn't want to spend the whole weekend in there. Because I would have just been hanging out, waiting for an MRI.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, they said I could just do it through my PCP. They can order MRI that way, which they did. I got to get another sleep study to get into the Baycare health system, so I think that's where the whole problem is. It's my mask. I have to have it so tight to get a good seal, and it's wearing like grooves in the back of my skull, like where the straps, go across my skull. And if a lot of you guys that wear these over the head headsets, you probably have noticed it across their head too. It'll wear a groove on top of your head with those headsets. But I think it's given me a bad headache from that, being squeezed so much that it was just hurting so much that it shot my blood pressure up to 176 over like 72 or something.
Wow. Yeah.
And and they said that could have caused some of the extra blurry vision, they think. I don't know.
Right.
I kind of get blurred vision anyway. I think I need another prescription, but that's what makes kind of sense. The leg cramps, they think, is from low iron. So they stopped my statin about 6 weeks ago. I don't know if I told you that or not. Are you on a statin?
No, they put me on one, and I took it for, I took it for about 3 or 4 weeks just before we were going to go on our cruise last year. And my muscles ached so bad, I felt like hell, and I said, I ain't taking it, so I stopped.
Yeah, they took me off of mine because I guess it can show in the blood work that it's doing damage to the muscles, and so they took me off of that statin that I was on, and they put me on this Repatha shot. It's a every other week injection I gotta inject myself with.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you get used to all the needles, but yeah, they think the leg cramps are from that low iron.
Okay.
They thought it was going to be the statins. It helped for a couple of weeks, but they came back. So yeah, that talk about the shingles last night that you were talking about.
Yes.
I like horse feathers. I took both of the shots. I don't want nothing to do with shingles. I've had friends that had it, and I don't remember chicken pox being that big of a deal when I was young, but these shingles, when you're this old, it's nothing to mess with. I'd gladly get the shots. So for my 2 cents,
mm-hmm.
There you go.
Right.
So anyway, off one day and the gas jumps up 40 cents. How does that happen?
I did not get out. I don't think I went anywhere this past day. Yeah, so I haven't seen what prices, if they've changed here or not.
Yeah, it was $2.79, and then on my way to work tonight it was $3.19.
Well, go figure. It's a holiday week.
I guess. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, I was going to see if he was going to bring up about those ambushed firefighters. I haven't heard anymore, so I'm kind of looking forward to your update. But other than that, I don't have much else. Semper Fi shout out to Uncle Buster and the rest of our Marine Corps brothers and sisters, and a special shout out to Beach Bum. Maybe we can get him to call in sometimes too. He has. But anyway, I appreciate you taking my call, and I'll be checking in on the app here in a second.
All right. Hey, thanks for the update there. And I guess, good news that they didn't find anything at this point, but trying to figure out, what's going on, right? Let me see. We got a few moments here before we get news break, bottom of the hour. The update, the man police believe laid the ambush for the Idaho firefighters Sunday is dead, as we know. The sheriff's office announcing that the body of a man found on Canfield Mountain near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, with a firearm near his body. Ultimately, 2 firefighters were killed. Another was critically wounded after responding to the brush fire. The sheriff said this was a total ambush. These firefighters didn't have a chance. The initial report of a fire came in about 1:20 Sunday afternoon. By 2 o'clock, firefighters reported coming under fire, triggering a response that ultimately grew to about 300 law enforcement personnel, some of whom exchanged shots with the gunman. The standoff ended at 7:40 p.m. when officials learned the gunman was dead The shelter-in-place order for the area was then lifted. Now, Norris said he knows of no motive here. Not certain if the man shot himself or was actually hit by some of the exchange of gunfire. Based on the preliminary information, we believe this was the only shooter up on the mountain at the time. Yeah, the shooter was tracked by a cell phone signal, he says. Yeah, we had a cell phone activation that was in the same spot since about 3:15 in the afternoon. That was in the same area. We honed in on that cell phone, and we saw there was a male who appeared to be deceased with a weapon nearby. Norris said federal authorities supplied the technology that tracked the signal. Yeah, there are some helicopters that had some really good technology that were able to pinpoint where this one cell phone activity was. So, yeah, there was our federal partners assisting us in the situation. Yeah, Norris said snipers were ready if needed, but we had 2 helicopters with snipers in them. So if we had an opportunity to take a shot, yeah, we wanted them to take that shot. I'm learning of technology I didn't know existed at this point in time. But, all right, more to come.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
This is perfect timing. We don't have enough people. I'll tell you, we are dominating AI.
Jobs being lost to AI is not a concern to President Trump.
Trump told Fox News he understands the need for the emerging technology and how it's replacing some American workers, but he insists there's a solution.
One thing, very simple, bring more companies and more jobs. You know, the truth is we don't have enough people to take care of these jobs.
The president insists the job losses will be offset by more companies coming to the U.S. because his tariffs are leveling the playing field. He adds he's instructed his team to speed up the permit process to build new power plants to help with the AI energy need. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Wall Street closed higher.
At the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 275 points. The S&P 500 added 31 points. The Nasdaq rose 96 points. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say: "We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great. It even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. So visit strongtel.com right now. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. StrongTel.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
excessive black smoke.
Excessive black smoke has 2 causes: carbon buildup and internal diesel injector deposits, also known as IDIDs. Carbon buildup obstructs the fuel spray. IDIDs are varnish inside the injector that alters ideal injector timing. Both of these cause reduced engine efficiency, leaving unburnt fuel to generate black smoke. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will remove carbon buildup and improve efficiency. Diesel Extreme has the highest concentration of active ingredients allowed by law and will safely remove all types of injector deposits, including IDIDs, eliminating black smoke. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes a cetane improver, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
For anything diesel, take it to Shy Diesel. They provide a wide variety of services and diagnostics to determine what the problem is with the latest technology. From simple oil changes and preventative maintenance to fuel system diagnostics and repairs, engine rebuilds and cylinder head repairs, and rebuilds with our in-house machine shop. They also have on-site DPF cleaning for exhaust issues and DOT inspections. If your diesel is asking for some attention, Shy Diesel has the specialist you need for anything diesel. Located in Terre Haute and Lafayette, Indiana, and Effingham, Illinois, Shy Diesel has you covered.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3-quarter or 1-ton Cummins powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
All right, underway, and away we go. Hello to sunshine. I believe it is Jacqueline. Good morning. 73 degrees. We have some shower activity in the Washington Courthouse, Ohio area. All right. Hello to Marcy, who said, let's get down to it. Hello to all. Country Bumpkin checking in from Waterford, Michigan. Got the garage stocked with Hot Shot Secret for the lawn equipment. Summertime, right? Dirty Harry, who says, gooder morning, Steve. All right, been MIA for a few days. My kid graduated 8th grade. Will soon be off to high school. I've been celebrating. He's been camping or something like that, so I've been taking in some, adulties, if you know what I mean. All right. Let's see. Had some heavy thunderstorms rolled through. But it was nice to put my foot in and hear that 383 screaming. All right, back to, real quick, we were given the update on the shooting scenario, so 2 firefighters dead and 1 in critical condition. Sean Turner, a former U.S. National Intelligence Communications Director, said that now the investigation trying to determine why this action took place. Investigators are going to try to learn whether or not there was some sort of tension, some sort of strife or conflict, maybe between local law enforcement and this guy. They'll then look at the individual's wider political and societal views. Yeah, he said this was a fairly complex attack. Yeah, the shooter obviously intended to harm more people than he ultimately did. So that's kind of where things stand at this point in time. All right, with so many folks going to be headed out to the campgrounds and doing your whatever it is out in the middle of nature in the coming days with a very, very busy camping weekend. Be aware, experts are warning of an increased possibility of people contracting some dangerous diseases as ticks spread across the country. An entomologist at Orkin Pest Control said ticks are spreading into different regions of the country due to some traditionally cooler areas experiencing milder winters. Ticks prefer to live in warmer environments. Now, ticks have been able to remain active longer than usual due to milder winters and higher temperatures, and have used hosts to spread outside of some of the traditional locations here in the USA. According to experts at New York's Binghamton University, the Tick-Borne Disease Center suggested that tick-borne diseases that were previously only found in certain regions of the U.S. are beginning to be identified in different parts of the country. Deer ticks are active anytime it's above 39 degrees. So we have a lot longer of active periods for ticks, unfortunately. Now, on top of milder winters, human developments in various wildlife habitats are contributing to the spread of ticks as well. Another reason for the spread is human development that helps them more easily find a human host. Experts at Ohio State University warned that the number of concerning tick species has increased from 1 to 5 just over the past 15 years. People need to be vigilant during the summer months. Obviously use caution with regard to certain ticks, tick bites, and diseases carried by ticks. You're advised to check for ticks after spending any time outdoors. Use tick repellents and wear long clothing. Awareness is the first step to protect yourself from tick-borne illness. Some of the pathogens that are only found in the south, like the rickettsia species that causes spotted fever, are beginning to migrate further north. Now, that's why tick surveillance and tick screening for other things are important. And it's important to do it regularly. Just something to keep in mind as you'll be heading out and about over the upcoming weekend. A lot of folks doing the hiking, exploring nature, right? And good morning to Gilligan, getting the week started, I believe.
Yeah, Steve, I am. Hey, did you hear about the ban they did in Virginia that started full effect on July 1st, midnight tonight? They're banning styrofoam for food vendors, whether you're out at no matter where. Well, it's like I went in 7-Eleven this morning. They had a stack of styrofoam coolers. In fact, the clerk gave me one. She says, "We're giving them away if you want one." I said, "No, what the heck? I'll put it up in my garage. Maybe sometime I'll use it." And I tell you what, you think about back in the day, a lot of time weekends, you'd buy you a styrofoam cooler and throw it away at the end of after you got done drinking all the beer out of it. Think of all them styrofoam coolers you bought over the years. How much more beer you could have bought if you'd have just stuck with one cooler. One good cooler, one regular cooler. A lot of money wasted on them old styrofoam coolers, wasn't there? I sent you another link. I just sent it. Hopefully you got it by now. One of the big wind turbines had got detached from the tractor.
Right.
Up there in Hagerstown, Maryland.
I was kind of watching that live this past morning. I sent Horthfed a quick message. I said, windmill turbine across the interstate. Did you run into it? And he said, where? And I told him where. And he said, oh, I see. I'm watching it live. What the hell?
Yep. Yeah, they're at I-70 and the 81 interchange. Boy, that caused a big mess. I was hearing about it on the local news. Yeah, it's just, but I think it's, two interesting stories.
Yeah,
Virginia spired their styrofoam ban, and then the wind turbine. It's just, I didn't even know about the styrofoam ban. I don't remember you mentioning it. Maybe you did. I walked in 7-Eleven this morning.
I had not seen a thing about that. No, I guess that's primarily in the news there in Virginia, right?
Yeah, it's a Virginia ban. I sent you the link.
Got it.
If you want to check into it. Yeah. Well, I ain't got a lot, but I made Charlie happy this morning.
Oh yeah.
I told him I was going to give him a raise. Yeah, even though I caught him sleeping yesterday morning on the job, and I had to relieve him. I don't know whether you saw that on the chat or not, but I ended up giving him a raise to $14.50 an hour. But he don't realize I'm paying him in pesos.
There you go.
Still works out to be about a minimum wage.
Yeah, or less.
Yeah, he's supposed to check in later. I don't know whether the right's up and moving or not, but yeah, they're going to tell you, don't worry about fireworks. We're bringing our own. We got some we made, so don't worry about the fireworks. We'll bring you some fireworks.
Yeah, in other words, this weekend for some will be the last weekend that they have 10 digits, right? All right, make your own. So yeah, that's interesting. July 1, yeah, a ban on styrofoam food service containers. So starting today, again in Virginia, the first phase, they say, targets food vendors with 20 or more locations in the state have to stop using styrofoam for food service. The second phase will extend the ban to all other food vendors, including smaller businesses, by July 1 of next year. The ban covers expanded polystyrene food service containers, including plates, cups, bowls, trays, hinged containers. The ban aims to reduce waste and pollution from styrofoam. Vendors may be able to apply for hardship exemptions from the ban in their locality, but violations can result in daily fines. The DEQ of Virginia recommends alternatives like reusable containers, paper products, recyclable plastics, or foil/metal containers. Okay. So a lot of places, I guess a lot of the food trucks and things of that nature in particular, which most of them are considered the smaller businesses, wouldn't have 20 locations. I don't know of many of the fast food joints that use the styrofoam cups. I don't see many of them, but yeah, there's a few out there, but very interesting. All right, thanks for the heads up there, Gilligan in Virginia. Well, there's the beach bum. How the heck are you?
Good morning, Steve. I started out listening to your show last night. I was drinking some rum and Coke last night, listening to the show, and then I finally fell asleep. And long weekend, and had some time to head out to the beach and enjoy the Gulf of America and white sand. So it was good.
That's good.
But yeah, it was good. It was good. So real quick, I was at BJ's today, and I had parked my truck, and I was walking in, and there's this guy loading cases and cases of water. I said, man, you're going to have one heck of a party. He says, oh, no, we're having a tropical storm or hurricane this weekend. I said, no, we're not. I said, we're going to get a lot of rain. I said, but we're not having no tropical storm. And he just kept going on and on and on. And I said, you know what? Whatever, buddy. Just knock yourself out. These people are crazy. I mean, I understand, with the couple of hurricanes we had last year, but, he's out there. He thought, we're having a major Category 5 coming in.
Yeah, right. I mean, all I know is that they say the forecasters are kind of monitoring for some possible, development. None of them. I haven't seen anything about even looking at a hurricane, but maybe a tropical tropical depression or possibly a tropical storm could come together. But
yeah, could. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing to get excited about. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We're still gonna, we're still heading out to the beach this weekend and gonna relax. And if we have to go in for a little bit, we'll go in. But I know Captain Ron was out there. I heard Captain Ron. Of course, Captain Ron lives a little bit south of me, and one of these days we're gonna get together and go have lunch. And so we'll make that happen. But Captain Ron had to lay off them ramen noodles and start eating some red meat, and bring iron up. You know what I'm saying, Steve?
There you go.
But other than that, we're working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday up to Valdosta and back to Tampa, and then take a long weekend. That's what we're going to be doing.
All right, sound like a plan. I'm looking forward to a few days off as well.
You need it. You come out here every night, Steve, and you give us the information that we need, and you're just dedicated, and we really appreciate it, and we thank you for the hard work.
Thank you so much. Well, hey, I appreciate you dialing us up this morning, and I'll pull up, see what we can find, anything. We had been talking the last few nights. AccuWeather had been highlighting for several days that there could, maybe be some development. A lot of things would have to come together. It's all about that front that's kind of dropping to the south, going to make its way to the Gulf. Let me see. This is from the Naples area, Naples, Florida. Will Florida celebrate the July holiday weekend with a tropical depression or tropical storm? Maybe, but even if nothing develops, and there's only a low chance, better have some inside backup activities planned, minus the fireworks, because it does look like it's going to be a wet weekend for the Sunshine State. The front is going to move south and stall somewhere between the eastern Gulf and the Atlantic waters off the southeast. Smack dab between those 2 points is Florida. Okay, if the right conditions are there, they could potentially ignite a bit of tropical development. According to AccuWeather's lead hurricane expert this past day, this is a fairly common time of year, June and July, that you get some of these old frontal boundaries kind of coming off the southeast coast into the Gulf. They stall out. Then you could get a little area of spin to develop along that decaying cold front. And that's how you get these normally fairly short-lived tropical systems early in the season. They tend to be on the weaker side, but they can bring a lot of rain. And I think that's what we might end up seeing here. The National Hurricane Center said on Monday the frontal boundaries expected to stall and weaken off the U.S. coast late this week, where an area of low pressure could develop from the weakening front by the weekend over Florida or the eastern Gulf. As some gradual tropical or maybe subtropical development could occur thereafter as that low moves very little. Formation chance over the 48-hour window is low, at near 0%. Formation chances over a 7-day window is at 20%. So that's very low. It's definitely not something worth going out and stocking up on bottled water. Okay, well, just hang on to it. You may need that later in the season, but we'll return right after this. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more. All backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust, quality you depend on.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Fuel additives.
the purpose behind most fuel additives is to impact performance of your diesel or provide protection to your fuel system. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment provides both performance enhancement and protection with 6 key components. This fully formulated premium fuel treatment includes the performance-enhancing cetane boost, injector cleaner, and LX4 lubrication, as well as protection against water with a demulsifier and rust inhibitor, plus a stabilizer that minimizes fuel filter clogs. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
Friday, trust your week's off to a good start here. And I do believe Brother Rambler checks in here. Good morning.
Well, good morning and hello, God's children. As Gordon Soley would say, I'm coming to you from the sunshine state of Florida in Sandestin on Highway 98, rolling over here to Panama City Beach. Got 2 stores in Panama City Beach, one in Panama City, then Lynn Haven, Parker, and then on up to Weewahiska, which means watering eyes in Native American, then Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. We're going to get on back to Picola. We're on Wildfire Tommy Rich. You can say, woo, we all going to get fired up Picola tonight. So, speaking of wrestling, I know you probably don't really care too much about it. If anyone watched Monday Night Raw, my Lord, I watched a good old barn burner, good old slobber knocker, as Jim Ross used to say, of a match between Sheamus and Russo. Steve, them guys beat the holy crap out of one another. I mean, they hit one another so hard, sweat was flying all of their body. I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, good God, man, how on earth? I mean, look, you can say it's fake all you want, you know. I've been a wrestling fan, and some of them hits, I mean, look, the finish, the finish, as they call it, is predetermined, and yes, it's predetermined who's going to win and who's going to lose. But to get there, man, you got to get there. Shout out to Larry Brimlow. Found out that my old buddy Larry Brimlow, his favorite wrestler was Superstar Billy Graham, and he was one of my all-time favorites also. Matter of fact, little secret, those of you who are fans of Determined Ministry Church and follow us, and we thank you for doing that. The original, what I used to open up to before we went to Tyler Children's Way of the Triune God, now we're doing I'll Fly Away as an opening. But we used to open up with the intro to Jesus Christ Superstar, and that's what Superstar Billy Graham used to come to the ring with. And I always liked seeing him come out the ring, the tie-dye shirts, the 24-inch pythons, and just coming out there and talk and all the smack on the microphone and putting them in the bear hug to finish. So, but, oh yeah, man. But Steve, we just had a great service this past Sunday. A lot of people just didn't really agree with it because really it was dealing with, mainly with addiction, the devil using your friends to get you back into addiction. And some people that wasn't very popular with, but man, we've had over 1,000 so far, 1,000 we have reached with that. So it must be getting popularity from somewhere, but we give God the glory for it. And we're just happy to be on the air with you. I tell you what, I know you're going to be coming up on a break. You want to hold me over?
Absolutely. It's a Tuesday. We're turning the page on the calendar, by the way. The month of July. Here it is, July 1 for 2025. Quickly, there was some positive news. I-40, it's been on again, off again. I-40 near the North Carolina-Tennessee border has reopened once again after the flooding and rock slides shut it down on the 18th of June. Transportation officials said 4 different areas on this stretch were cleared of debris. Ramps at exit 451 were repaired. Now, the repairs and cleanup were estimated to take 2 weeks, but they got it done in about a week, according to the Tennessee Department of Transportation. All right, so it's reopened with 1 lane of traffic in each direction, speeds at 35 miles per hour. Of course, oversized loads have been restricted since Hurricane Helene, and they're still prohibited there on I-40. We'll return after the news break.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
Hello, Big T here with Diesel Power Group. Listen, if your truck's in a repair center and you think it's being misdiagnosed or worse, being overcharged for an overhaul or an engine replacement, you need to stop and call Diesel Power Group now. Allow us to build the DPG solution that is right for you, not the repair center. We have over 4 decades in engine remanufacturing experience and specialize in Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Mack, International, and John Deere. DPG offers an industry-leading warranty and turnaround times. We want to earn your trust every day. Don't believe us? Challenge us today by calling 574-594-5888 or visit us at dieselpowergroup.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are available 24/7. Mention code 374 and receive a $200 rebate towards your major failure repair.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. Senator Lindsey Graham says it's too early to tell if Iran has abandoned their nuclear ambitions, despite the U.S. airstrikes on their nuclear facilities.
While appearing on ABC's This Week, the South Carolina Republican said the focus remains on Iran's intentions.
Does the regime still desire to make a nuclear weapon? The answer is yes. Do they still desire to destroy Israel and come after us? The answer is yes.
His comments come as President Trump said Friday the last thing Iran is thinking about is enriched uranium. The president has also maintained the nuclear program was destroyed, calling it a total obliteration. Mark Mayfield.
Frank Koberger is accepting a plea deal that's going to drop the death penalty for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students back in November 2022. Longtime defense attorney Danny Cervalos.
If you start interrogating the defendant, that's when they start going off script and maybe trying to massage the facts or give their version. And then the judge says, well, then I can't accept this plea.
Koberger is expected to plead guilt, committing the 4 murders and serve life in prison. He will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and waives all right to appeal. The Sean Diddy Combs jury is returning tomorrow morning after deliberating for 5.5 hours today.
The 4-person sent 2 notes to the judge Monday, one expressing concern that juror 25 can't follow the judge's instructions on the law. He sent a note back saying they're legally obligated to do so and to continue deliberating. They did, and sent another note to the judge just before they adjourned, asking about the distribution of controlled substances. The 8-man, 4-woman jury is deciding Diddy's fate in his federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he could face life behind bars. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gasoline is $3.18. Mono County, California is up to $5.85 a gallon, while Simpson County, Mississippi is down to $2.51. From America's News Network, this is USA Radio News.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
The president of the University of Virginia is stepping down after pressure from the Trump administration over the school's DEI efforts.
The New York Times says Virginia President James E. Ryan told the university's board he's resigning after demands by the Trump administration to step aside to help resolve an inquiry by the Justice Department. His resignation prompted a mass protest by hundreds of students and faculty members. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
3 illegal aliens are in custody after first responders had to rescue them from the border wall at the California-Mexico border.
Border agents say they tried to illegally cross into San Diego. This happened near Otay Mesa early Sunday morning. Officers say they tried to scale the primary border fence using a length of carpet to cover the sharp wire that lines the top of the structure, but they got stranded on top of the fence and couldn't climb back down. San Diego firefighters safely extracted them without any injuries. They're now in custody. Officers have not released their identities or nationalities. I'm Lucinda Kay.
With a college degree now setting students back over $153,000, a new report by Student Choice shares the top 5 programs with the strongest return on investment.
Number 1 is engineering, offering a median annual salary of $100,000 and growth opportunities in renewable energy, defense, and manufacturing innovation. Computer science and IT come in at number 2 with a salary of $95,000 a year. Nursing's in 3rd place, accounting claims number 4, and biochemistry number 5. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
And I'm Anthony Lucero, USA Radio News.
Many Americans are currently celebrating the election of Donald J. Trump. If you'd like a deep dive look into the mass movement behind his political success, visit TrumpWorld.net to get your complimentary digital copy of the Trump World Bookazine from the New American. It's a 96-page special collector's edition, and for a limited time you can receive the digital edition for free. Visit TrumpWorld.net today for your free
We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout. When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust. Quality you depend on.
Keep the bugs off your glass and the smokies off your ass. This is the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Hey, rolling into a brand new day. It's a Tuesday. Welcome to the month of July. There you go, July 1. As the busy travel week is officially underway. Yeah, while some of the best weather in the country for Independence Day this year will be in the mid-Atlantic and the West. Thunderstorms may affect picnics, fireworks plans over the middle of the country, as well as the southeast corner. Stronger storms forecast to grind through the Appalachians to the Atlantic coast on into midweek. That'll leave most of the travel trouble spots over the southwest, where the North American monsoon begins to kick into gear. Looks like an exception to the mainly rain-free conditions. At midweek will be some spotty thunderstorms from the Midwest to the Northeast, Wednesday to Thursday. Then a decent push of less humid air takes hold in the Northeast by Friday, where many areas can expect sunshine and practically no chance of rain. There will be some showers in parts of northern and eastern New England, but much of the southeast. You'll be looking for the typical heat and humidity on July 4. That leads to spotty afternoon and early evening thunderstorms that tend to diminish after sunset. Looks like for Independence Day, the most concentrated area of showers and thunderstorms will likely be from the Dakotas to Minnesota, northern portions of Wisconsin and Michigan. This is the zone where there's likely to be some problems for outdoor activities. Thunderstorms will extend southward from this zone to the Big Bend area of the Rio Grande River along the Texas and Mexico border. Somewhat spotty in nature, but they can be quite heavy and gusty where they do occur. Most areas from the Rockies to the Pacific coast are likely to be free of rain, with a couple of exceptions, maybe some shower activity in store for parts of Montana and Wyoming, and some spotty thunderstorms in the northern part of California and southern portions of Oregon. Anywhere there's lightning and little to no rain out west, obviously the risk of wildfires crops up. The same concerns exist with fireworks over dry brush or drought areas. Light winds and high humidity will be a concern for smoke to promptly clear during fireworks in the southeast, the south central, and the Ohio Valley on Friday evening. Fireworks crews and spectators may have to wait between each round for ideal viewing conditions. Even though humidity levels will be low for early July in much of the Northeast, once again, light winds will cause some delays for the smoke to clear. Now, for those headed to the beach, some of the Florida beaches could be a little dicey in terms of dry weather, as forecasters are watching the Gulf and the southern Atlantic for possible tropical activity. While this would likely be a slow process, clusters of showers and thunderstorms could form and maybe spoil a day at the beach in some areas. But always remember, head indoors at the first rumble of thunder. Golf carts, picnic pavilions, tents, porches, small clusters of trees can all be dangerous during thunderstorms. When the inside of a building cannot be reached, they do say a hardtop car or truck is considered to be a relatively safe option, as it's the metal of the vehicle and not the rubber tires that protect the occupants if caught in a storm. In a densely forested area, avoid the ridges and the tallest trees, which tend to be struck the most often. There's your advice as Independence Day just around the corner. All right, Brother Rambler, welcome back.
All right. Thank you for holding me over, Steve. And real quick, if I don't say anything about Memphis wrestling, Braindead's gonna choke me. Braindead and Dingbat. Shout out to Jerry the King Lawler, Superstar Bill Dundee. And anyways, one more thing. Dipsy Driver and I are very, very happy because we're both Detroit Red Wings fans, and Detroit has re-signed, right now, probably my favorite hockey player, Patrick Kane. So he has been re-signed to 1 year. We did trade Vladimir Tarasenko. He did get traded to the Minnesota Wild for future draft picks. So I wasn't too happy about that, but he wasn't doing what he did when he was with the Ottawa Senators, and nothing what he did when he was with the Florida Panthers. So, but Steve, we got a lot of folks watching you on Facebook right now. I want to ask the question, and I want everyone to give a show of emojis. Steve, in your lifetime, have you ever heard someone when they pray say, "I plead the blood over this situation"?
I have.
Show of emojis. Have y'all on Facebook heard it? All right. Determined Ministries Church presents Bible Talk, T-O-K, Tuesday. And Steve, we're going to cover that. Where did it come from? Because this is nowhere in the Bible. But the phrase, "I plead the blood over my household. I plead the blood over my family. I plead the blood over your radio show." Where did it come from? On Bible Talk Tuesday, the Turner Ministries Church is going to present this, and we're going to have 10 minutes that we're going to really get into it and point out the scriptures on where this comes into. And all this is just a little bit of extra diesel fuel, maybe a little bit of death to get us through the rest of the week. We can all come back together again this Sunday at Determined Ministries Church. We do go live at 5 o'clock Central Time. So just look for us on TikTok, and I will be sharing the TikTok. I believe, Steve, you can watch from Facebook or anything else when I share it. I don't believe you have to have the app. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. But Bible Talk Tuesday, I plead the blood. And you're going to be interested to know where this comes from. And, you know, anytime I pray, when I'm thinking about you out there, the listening audience, I'm thinking about Steve Sommers. I'm thinking about someone suffering with cancer or any problem that someone may be going with. I always, well, not always, but most of the time I always say, "I plead the blood. I plead the blood." So tune in. We'd like to have you, and that'll be Bible Talk TOK Tuesday, trying to build a bit of audience on TikTok, trying to get that up and going. So praise God for that. Other than that, Steve, I've really got nothing else really too much to say and talk about. Let's just keep loving one another. Let's keep praying for one another. Keep Uncle Fred in your prayers. That's Brother Fred Blankenship. And we're going to keep Knuckle Buster and his family. The Swaggart family, let's keep them in your prayers. I said, as we were on Steve Sommers, that by this time, we'd be reading about Brother Jimmy's passing. Well, he is still hanging in there. But Brother Donnie gave an update this past Sunday. It's not a matter of when, it's not a matter of if, but when. So they're fully expecting that to pass, Brother Jimmy Swaggart, evangelist Jimmy Swaggart, to pass away. And, no other man that I can think of besides Billy Graham and maybe A.A. Allen has had a closer walk with the Lord than Brother Swaggart. And I mean that sincerely. And there's been a lot of people, and I try every day, Steve. I wake up, I just want to tell someone about Jesus. I try to make it a point to talk to everybody. I was in Walmart before I come over here to Florida. And this sweet little old lady, she was just greeting everybody, and everyone would just ignore her. She's got a mop. She's trying to mop up the floor because it's just raining in Mobile, Alabama. It just rains too much. But, and you could tell that, she's just disheartened. And I walk in there, and she says, "Hello." I said, "Well, hello, sweetie. How you doing?" And we just talked for just a minute and just lightened up her day. And, she saw my hat, and, Jesus Christ on it. And we just talked for just a minute. And, Steve, just a kind gesture from someone, even if it says, "Hey, Jesus loves you, and God knows what you're going through," that makes a world of difference, because you just don't know what someone's going through. You may be inside a truck stop, and you may be a total butthole to someone, but that someone you're being a butthole to, their mother, their father, someone may be dying of cancer. They may have just lost a child, and yet they're showing up for work because they have to show up for work. Because guess what? When someone dies, the bills keep coming. Mortgage company, they'll tell you, "Hey, I'm sorry you lost your parents, but when can we have your next payment?" Your landlord, "I'm very sorry you lost your child, but the rent's due. I'll give you a few days." They don't stop coming. So let's be considerate. Let's be nice. Quit being a butthole or a whole butt, whichever one you want to say, and learn to love someone. Show the love of Christ, because he truly gets us. And I get you too. And I want to end this with love. And love is just not another four-letter word. It's something you have to do. It's something you have to enact. And if Jesus can love you, and he does, oh, Brother Rambler can love you, and I do, and I'll check in with you again at some other time. And we say goodbye from the Sunshine State. We're live in Panama City Beach right now. Bye, Steve. Love you.
Yeah, good to have you on board. There you go. Panama City Beach. All right, hello to the Scrapyard. Waving all five at you from the Springdale Depot. Hey, Kevin is on board. Hello, Steve, the overnight crew. Pappy, saddle up, nocturnal listeners, the midnight hour, +1. Like late to the party again, 72 degrees, Harrison, Ohio. It was a muggy day out today. Got up early to greet the garage door salesman. Mine went down and is down for the count. Snuggle up to whomever, whatever, just heated up that cup of joe. All right, I guess, were you napping, Pappy? All right, it is 844-844-3388. Chris says, we've been getting a lot of rain here in southern Alabama the last couple of weeks for sure. Sick of it. Buckeye Boy picked up 2 inches of rain in Ackworth, Georgia since this past Thursday, according to the rain gauge there. Hello from Bob in Michigan. There's John, 80 degrees on the confluence of the 5, 70, 80, and 99. Without obstructions, respectively. Yeah, okay. The big, beautiful bill. Where do we stand? The Senate's long day of voting churned toward evening Monday. Republican leaders grasping for ways to shore up support for President Trump's big bill of tax breaks and spending cuts, while fending off proposed amendments from Democrats who opposed the package and trying to defeat it. The outcome was not yet in sight. Senate Majority Leader John Thune acknowledged the Republicans are figuring out how to get to the end game. House Speaker Mike Johnson signaled the potential problems that the Senate package could face when it is eventually sent back to his chamber for a final round of voting, which is expected later this week, ahead of the president's July 4 deadline. I have prevailed upon my Senate colleagues to please keep it as close to the House product as possible. As he left the Capitol around dinner time, of course, Republicans had passed their version last month. It's a pivotal moment for Republicans who have control of Congress, racing to wrap up work with just days to go before the president's holiday deadline, Friday. The 940-page One Big Beautiful Bill Act, as it's formally titled, has consumed Congress as its shared priority with the president. Republican leaders have no room to spare, with narrow majorities in both chambers. Thune can lose no more than 3 Republican senators, and already 2. Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who warns people are going to lose access to Medicaid health care, and Rand Paul of Kentucky, who opposes raising the debt limit, have indicated opposition. Of course, Tillis abruptly announced over the weekend that he will not seek re-election after Trump threatened to campaign against him. So he ain't got nothing to lose. Reports say another half dozen or so Republican senators may also be holdouts, which would be more than enough to prevent its passage. Now, ahead of Monday's voting, Democrat leader Chuck Schumer said the hardest choices for Republicans are still to come. With every rewrite, Senate Republicans have made their bill more extreme, according to Schumer. Democrats opposed dozens of amendments, or proposed dozens of amendments in what's called a vote-a-rama this past day. Although most are expected to fail, Democrats are united against the Republican president's legislation. They've eagerly lined up to challenge. All right, the White House said they're counting on Republican lawmakers to get the job done. Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, according to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt this past day. After a full day of voting, it was a slow go, another sign that Republican leaders were not ready to call for passage. Tillis said it's a betrayal of the president's promises not to kick people off of health care, especially if rural hospitals close. At the same time, some loosely aligned conservative Senate Republicans, Rick Scott of Florida, Mike Lee of Utah, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, Cynthia Loomis of Wyoming, have proposed some steeper cuts, particularly to health care, that drew their own warning from Trump not to go crazy. As the first few Senate amendments came up this past day to strike parts of a bill that would limit Medicaid funds to rural hospitals or shift the cost of food stamp benefits to the states, some were winning support from a few Republicans, although none actually passed. Senator Mike Crapo, chairman of the Finance Committee, dismissed the dire predictions of health care cuts as Democrats trafficking what he called the politics of fear. And so back and forth they go. What did pass, what did not? Several have shared the headline that the Senate parliamentarian gave a big gift to the illegal aliens in the country. There was some in that legislation to cut illegal aliens from being eligible to get Medicaid, which I agree wholeheartedly. Why? Why are we, the taxpayers, paying to give illegals Medicaid in this country? But the parliamentarians struck that, so they will continue to get it. It's about 24 past the hour. All right, back to the calls. Knucklebuster on board here Tuesday. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Steve Sommers. Simplify shout out there to Truck and Field, Captain Ron, Mr. Steve Sommers, and appreciate all you're doing for us today there. What Nancy Pelosi say? Oh, we got to pass it so we can read it and see what's in there. I think they need to read it first, and then we'll see what's in it, then whether we pass it or not, right? I think that's what they're doing, right?
They read it over the weekend. It took 16 hours. They read it from start to finish, 940 pages. Could you imagine sitting through that?
Oh, no, I didn't listen to none of it. I'm too busy doing other things there. So I wouldn't have listened to it anyway. So it just, you're talking about them ticks. Stay away from them pine needle beds there. More dead pine needles and ticks like in pine needle beds there. So, and then I think y'all call them red bugs, but we call them tiggers down south there. That's another critter you got to watch out for when you're walking around in the woods there. Take your bath in pine saw, get them off of you there. So, and then you got them little creepy, slimy critters that crawl around on the ground there trying to steal your root beer. They got some of them's got rattlers on them, and some of them don't. Mm-hmm. Some of them's in the water, and some of them ain't there. Them water moccasins are bad dudes there. And then you got to watch out this weekend too for all them people going, hold my beer while I do something stupid like shoot this bottle rocket off out of my teeth there, right? Mm-hmm. So, you got to watch out for them. And I'm just curious, Steve, them scantily clad senoritas out there in them bikinis there, how many accidents have they caused?
I imagine they've caused
probably quite a few, right?
Quite a few, I'm thinking. No doubt.
Yeah, man, I'm driving that boat, and she didn't have her top on. Imagine that. So, anyway, Man, I just crazy out here. Traffic's going nuts. They're all running 100 mile an hour trying to get wherever it is they need to be there. So everybody's wanting to fight with each other. So I just keep right on plugging along there at the speed limit there. So, man, I don't know. It's been a long day. Let's see, I got one more trip full, and then I'll be off when I get back in Thursday morning. So I'm just going to take another long weekend at it there, and that's the best thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, that's all I'm going to build on it for this go-around there. I'm going to keep right on trucking back to Memphis there. I'm bringing a load of problems back to Memphis there. So you got another load of skull busters. So, man, like they really need another case of beer there in Memphis, right?
That'll be starting some fights over Independence Day weekend, won't it?
Oh, absolutely there. So we'll keep listening, and it's almost time of that news break, Steve.
All right, good to hear from you, Knucklebuster. There you go. Indeed it is. Almost time. 844-844-3388. So since the United States got involved, hit the nuclear sites in Iran shortly after brokered the peace deal, many had been calling for people to be aware of your surroundings. We know there are hundreds, or according to Pam Bondi, maybe 1,000 individuals in this country from Iran that are here illegally. Some interesting developments over the past day. We'll give you the details coming up here. And I'd say it's probably not the best news. It is the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, 844-844-3388.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. Senator Lindsey Graham says it's too early to tell if Iran has abandoned their nuclear ambitions.
While appearing on ABC's This Week, the South Carolina Republican said the focus remains on Iran's intentions.
Does the regime still desire to make a nuclear weapon? The answer is yes. Do they still desire to destroy Israel and come after us? The answer is yes.
The president has also maintained the nuclear program was destroyed. Mark Mayfield.
Brian Kohberger is accepting a plea deal that's going to drop the death penalty for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students back in November 2022. Longtime defense attorney Danny Cervalos.
If you start interrogating the defendant, that's when they start going off script and maybe trying to massage the facts or give their version. And then the judge says, well, then I can't accept this plea.
Kohberger is expected to plead guilt, committing the 4 murders and serve life in prison. He will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and waives all right to appeal. From America's News Network, this is USA Radio News.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator.
Stiction, that sticky friction, undermines the performance of diesel engines and is difficult to remove from the oil system. Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator is a powerful synthetic cleaner that targets stiction, contains no harmful solvents, and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive. Our proprietary carbon nano lubricant is blended with Stiction Eliminator, filling in microscopic irregularities inside your engine, providing a smoother surface for enhanced lubricity, reducing friction and wear. Third-party ASTM testing verifies that Stiction Eliminator removes 2 times as much stiction than any alternative on the retail shelf. Use Stiction Eliminator to solve an existing problem or as a preventative maintenance.
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Tired of the guesswork when it comes to your load weight? With Rightway, stay in control on the road and on the DOT's good side. From onboard load scales to Bluetooth-enabled monitoring, Rightway helps truckers and fleets cut down on time, fines, and fuel waste, all without hitting the scale. Smarter hauling starts here. Want more details? Head over to rwls.com. Rightway. Drive more, scale less. Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout. When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust. Quality you depend on.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
All right, back at it here at 844-844-3388. All right, Eagle, wake up. Got you coming up here. I know this is something that he's kind of alluded to in recent days. You know, some of the statements that continue, the rhetoric coming from the Ayatollah there in Iran, continuing to threaten Israel and the United States. Middle East experts for the past week have been stating, we know there are sleepers, as they call them, sleeper cells in this country, many of whom entered during the 4-year free-for-all with the open border. Individuals who were actually on the terror watch list being released into the country. Individuals which they call the gotaways. Have no idea who they are. But they've been telling us how do they get the official word to activate. And this is how it's done. The senior Iranian cleric has issued a decree calling on all Muslims to seek retribution against President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Grand Ayatollah on Sunday issued what they call a fatwa against Trump for speaking negatively about the Iran Supreme Leader, the Ayatollah. Trump on Friday said he immediately stopped pursuing any sort of sanction relief for Iran after Khomeini's statement of anger, hatred, disgust. Before that, it was reported the president vetoed all Israeli plans to kill the Ayatollah. Any regime or individual threatening the leaders of the Islamic Ummah and acting on those threats qualifies as a muharib, according to the cleric there. That's a term in Iran's penal code for one who wages war against God. Now, according to Iran's Islamic penal code, a person proven to be a murib may face severe punishments such as execution, crucifixion, amputation of the right hand and foot, or exile. Shirazi also issued a fatwa against Netanyahu. He called Trump and Netanyahu enemies of God and urged Muslims to take action against the two leaders. The cleric stressed the need for Muslims to take Trump and Netanyahu to make them regret their words and mistakes. And he went on to say followers will be rewarded as warriors in the path of God if the two men suffer hardships. May God protect the Islamic community from the evil of the enemies and hasten the reappearance of the master of the age and time. I tried to break that down last week. The goal to destroy Israel is based on their religious belief that their final prophet cannot return until Israel's destruction. Now, Trump had pressed Israel and Iran into a truce, as we know. February, Trump said he had given his advisors instructions to obliterate Iran if it assassinates him. Now, we know here in the U.S., federal authorities have been out there tracking Iranian threats and rounding up numerous Iranians since, even prior to the bombing there of the nuclear facilities. But that's kind of where things stand. When they actually issue the fatwa, be aware, pay attention to your surroundings. That's all I can tell you. All right, Eagle joins us here on a Tuesday. Good morning.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, Steve, I want to go back to last night. I want to talk about this situation going on in Florida with the alligators at this facility, the detention facility, if you don't mind. You know something, Steve? I don't know if you have listeners to your show that are not too smart or illiterate, or they have hearing problems, or they're just plain stupid at this point. Because I clearly said last night, Steve, that I didn't agree with the alligator situation and how it's going about. And I don't like it when somebody calls into your show, and you know how long I've been talking to you, and I've been telling you that I like everything Trump is doing, and then this guy calls in last night and says that every time I call in, I'm talking bad about Donald Trump. I take offense to that, Steve, because you know damn well it's not true.
Well, it depends on what day of the week it is, Eagle. One day you're against Trump, the next day you're all for Trump. I mean, you have cited a number of things that you don't agree with him on, and last night was one of them.
Don't I have a right to do that?
Absolutely.
Do I have to agree with everything? Do I have to agree with everything he does?
And when you make a point, when you call the program, it's a talk program, and you make a point. If someone disagrees with that, it's their right to call and disagree. It's not a personal attack on you. It's a difference of opinions.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I said what I said. I have a right to change. I don't have to like everything. I'm not that kind of a person. I don't jump on the bandwagon with somebody just because they say some things I like. If the man is doing something I don't like, I'm going to say something about it. And I don't like the way he's handling this situation with the illegals in Florida. This is not a party, Steve. They got Donald Trump going down to Florida today to celebrate the opening of this facility. There's nothing to celebrate. These people are being detained. These people are being deported out of the country. We know this. But as far as the wildlife, the alligators, you had another guy call in and say that's a part of Florida. The alligator, yeah, it is a part of Florida. But that place was not made. It was an airport runway. That place was not made to begin with to hold detainees. This is what I'm saying. And besides that, Steve, with that individual, would he want one of his family members detained in that facility with man-eating alligators waiting for him if they decide to get the hell out of there? So, like I said, everybody has their opinion, Steve, and everything that Donald Trump does is not right. Simple as that. The guy he's doing things without approval of Congress. Okay, he dropped the bombs. Yeah, that needed to be done, but you also have to have some kind of you got to let people know what's going on. They didn't just make Congress and senators just to have those people sit there and do nothing and let Trump just do what the hell he want to do. It doesn't work like that in America, Steve. That's what I'm saying, and I have a right to say that. And then the next night I got a right to come and say I approve of what he's doing. What'd you say?
Well, Trump didn't build Alligator Alcatraz. That's Florida's governor. Tell me, is there a difference when you've committed a crime and being in the country illegally, and most of these that he's sending to this facility, or Florida is sending to these facilities, have other criminal, sexual predators, rapists. They've committed other crimes. What's the difference in going to a facility that may have alligators on the exterior versus the facility that's going to have 2 15-foot fences with razor wire all over it, where you're going to get killed trying to get out? The idea of a detention facility is you don't want to try to escape, and we don't want them to escape, do we?
Okay, well, here's the first thing that's wrong about the situation, Steve, is because these people were supposed to be deported out of the country. Why are these people being detained to begin with? If these people are here from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, wherever they come from, why are they not being loaded onto an airplane and sent back to their homeland? Why are they even being detained to begin with? And like I said before, it's not right to treat these people like this. Like I said, they need to be escorted out of the country. And like I said, there's no. Let me ask you a question right quick, Steve. Name me another country in the world. Name me another jail in the country that you know of that has alligators outside of the facility for anybody who decides to escape. Can you name me a location anywhere in the world that has alligators at that location?
I have no idea what other detention facilities are like, but I can guarantee you this: these individuals, even surrounded by alligators, they're going to be treated a whole lot better than they would be when ultimately they're going to get to their El Salvador or Guatemala. And when they get there, those facilities are not a place you want to be in, regardless of whether they're surrounded by alligators.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but like I said before, why are these people being detained to begin with? They need if they don't want them in America, if they don't want them in the state of Florida, why is the governor of Florida putting these people in this facility to begin with?
Well,
that's the question that needs to be. That's the question that needs to be asked.
And I can answer that question for you, Eagle. The reason that they're being detained. Yeah, every time that the Republicans and Donald Trump or the conservative governors like DeSantis try to send a flight out of the country, you got the Democrats and you got these judges, these federal judges that are telling them they can't do that. You can't ship these people out until they have an opportunity to have an actual hearing before a judge and determine whether they are going to be deported or not. So we have to hold them for an extended period of time, and the Democrats literally want Trump and the administration to have to go through millions of hearings, one by one, to allow them to send them out of the country. That's why we're having to hold them while they await deportation.
You're right about that. Okay, you are right. Yeah, he is going through pure hell to try to get these people out with these bogus judges around the U.S. That's definitely true what you just said. These judges are making it difficult. But like I said, in the right scenario, Steve, these people they should like one guy said, we have enough money in America. We can hire the judges. There's no excuse for somebody to have to wait years to get a court date. We have enough people in America to where these people can be judged and either told they have to leave the country or either told that they can stay. It shouldn't take 5 or 6 years to determine if somebody is allowed to stay in the U.S. That's the problem that we have. And most of these people are not eligible to stay to begin with. They came in illegally under bogus circumstances. So, like I said, the flights, like I said, Donald Trump, there are things that he should be able to overrule, and that's one of the things that he should. If somebody is in the country illegally, they've already broken the law, and they should be, they shouldn't be detained. They should be put on an airplane and flown out of the U.S. We shouldn't even be talking about this facility in Florida if it was done the right way. But I'm just saying, Steve, this is a dangerous situation. I don't know if you've seen these so-called tents or so-called places containers they're going to put these people in. They say that they're air conditioned. How many people are going to be in these different containers or whatever they have? Are these people going to be treated? Because remember, these people are not criminals. These are not the murderers, the rapists. These are just construction workers, farm workers, and people like that that's going to be in this facility. And those people, how are these people going to be treated while they're waiting for deportation back to their country? That's what I'm concerned with. I could give a damn about somebody that's a gang member or a drug trafficker or something like that. I don't care what the treatment. I'm concerned for the treatment of these people that are just here illegally that were just trying to make a better life for their family. That's the only thing I'm concerned with. So like I said, there are things that I agree with Donald Trump. That's the problem with Donald Trump, Steve. There is no in-between with the guy. You either like the guy or you don't. Because like I said, every day he does something, and then the very next day he might do something that's totally off the rail that nobody has heard of. And that's the reason why his support dwindles. That's the reason why he's not getting any new supporters, because from day to day the guy changes, and that's one of the big problems that he had. He needs to stick with one initiative and stay with it and stop jumping from issue to issue. That's the problem I have with Trump at this point, and I thank you for taking my call.
All right. Well, there's a lot of irons in the fire. There's a lot of things that having to deal with, on any given day. You could talk about multitasking, and when does the guy ever sleep? I mean, we've been saying for years he gets like 3-4 hours sleep at best. He may be up sending out messages at 3:00 in the morning. All right, clear lines at 844-844-3388. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Tired of the guesswork when it comes to your load weight? With Right Way, stay in control on the road and on the DOT's good side. From onboard load scales to Bluetooth-enabled monitoring, Right Way helps truckers and fleets cut down on time, fines, and fuel waste, all without hitting the scale. Smarter hauling starts here. Want more details? Head over to rwls.com. Right Way. Drive more, scale less.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
product claims without proof.
Every trucker on the road has heard product claims about an additive that simply didn't match their experience. Proof is found from third-party testing by a recognized, credible source. That's proof. Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator will improve your performance and fuel economy. For proof, we engaged the Ohio State University Center of Automotive Research to conduct an EPA-certified fuel economy test with Stiction Eliminator on a FedEx truck, a 2006 P500 Freightliner with 247,000 miles. The test showed a 3.6% increase in highway driving fuel economy from Stiction Eliminator, an oil additive. The complete report from OSU is available for download at hotshotsecret.com. That's proof.
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust. Quality you depend on.
All right, what do you say? We'll hit some of the industry headlines here. As Gilligan mentioned earlier, this massive windmill turbine, which was in the process of being transported, came loose on I-70 this past morning. Right about the time we were wrapping up our Monday morning program, about 5 a.m. According to PHL 70, the tractor trailer was hauling the windmill turbine blade along I-70 westbound. When it came loose, the blade then ended up crossing the center median, blocking eastbound lanes, while the semi-truck blocked westbound lanes. One injury in the incident, individual taken to the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. But 3 lanes of I-70 East and 4 lanes on I-70 West were closed as crews worked to clear up this mess. The blade was removed from the median a little after 8 o'clock in the morning. It's about all we know. And I was watching some of the video of how they were getting this. It's almost like you've got 2 separate segments of a truck. It almost looks to me kind of like a hook and ladder kind of scenario when it comes to fire trucks, where someone would be maintaining the steering on the back end versus the front. I'm not exactly sure, but that's how it appeared they were able to get the back end back in line on the interstate. But what a mess, what a backup. It had to be miles and miles. Meanwhile, in New York, the New York City Department of Transportation has announced the expansion of enforcement on overweight trucks using their weigh-in-motion technology. Started here about a week ago, New York City DOT began issuing $650 violations to overweight Staten Island-bound trucks on the BQE, Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. Overweight trucks are targeted using WIM technology, or sensors that are in the roadway, in conjunction with adjacent cameras to capture the identifying information of vehicles that are overweight. Now, to gear up for the increased enforcement, officials began a 90-day warning period back in March of this year. Owners of overweight trucks caught on the BQE headed toward Staten Island have been receiving notices but no fines, as well as information on the enforcement date. Now, according to the New York City DOT, within the first 75 days of the warning period, more than 3,000 warnings were issued to overweight trucks. The overweight truck enforcement system's been in use on the BQE for about a year now. Since they began enforcement, the system, they say, has proven to be an incredibly effective tool at deterring overweight trucks from using the BQE in downtown Brooklyn. As of November last year, overweight vehicles detected on the triple cantilever spans decreased by 60%. The concern, they say, is overweight trucks can cause wear and tear on the roads, as we all pay the price through expensive repairs to the infrastructure. That's why we're expanding our role as a nationwide leader, cracking down on overweight vehicles on the BQE with the state-of-the-art roadway weight sensors for the Staten Island-bound traffic. So $650, the cost it's going to set you back, and that is now being enforced. Meanwhile, for our friends to the north, DHL Express, they say, has restored all services in Canada, will resume full operations. Well, they did this past day after union workers represented by Unifor ratified the new 4-year contract over the weekend. The approval of the collective bargaining agreement ending a strike or lockout that lasted nearly 3 weeks and forced the company to halt parcel deliveries on June 20th. Under the agreement that covers more than 2,100 truck and van drivers, as well as warehouse pickers and clerical workers, was ratified by 72% of the membership. Over that 3-week time frame, apparently, packages had piled up. Incredible. It's going to take them several days to work through all the packages that have been awaiting to be moved over that 3-week time frame. All right, so there you go. Some of the industry headlines. Get a news update, and here we go. Roll it up on the midnight hour in the Mountain Time Zone. Much more to come as we make our way into a Tuesday. 844-844-3388 to dial us up here. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust, quality you depend on.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Fuel additives.
the purpose behind most fuel additives is to impact performance of your diesel or provide protection to your fuel system. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment provides both performance enhancement and protection with 6 key components. This fully formulated premium fuel treatment includes the performance-enhancing cetane boost, injector cleaner, and LX4 lubrication, as well as protection against water with a demulsifier and rust inhibitor, plus a stabilizer that minimizes fuel filter clogs. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
This is perfect timing. We don't have enough people. If AI is so good, which I hear it is, and there's a lot of money being bet by very smart people, I'll tell you, we are dominating AI.
Jobs being lost to AI is not a concern to President Trump.
Trump told Fox News he understands the need for the emerging technology and how it's replacing some American workers, but he insists there's a solution.
One thing, very simple, bring more companies and more jobs. You know, the truth is we don't have enough people to take care of these jobs.
The president insists the job losses will be offset by more companies coming to the U.S. because his tariffs are leveling the playing field. He adds he's instructed his team to speed up the permit process process to build new power plants to help with the AI energy need. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
President Trump is shrugging off an upcoming deadline for U.S. tariffs to go back into effect on multiple nations.
Trump told Fox News he will soon inform those countries they can trade with the U.S., but the tariffs are returning.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story. You're going to pay a 25% tariff.
The White House deadline for countries to come to the bargaining table is July 9th. Trump told Fox News that it's going to be very simple. He says he's going to send letters to the countries that don't make a deal by then and inform them they can trade with the U.S., but the tariffs are returning. Mark Mayfield.
President Trump says TikTok has a buyer.
Very, very wealthy people. It's a group of very wealthy people.
Trump told Fox News a buyer's in place, but he won't say who it is at this time. He says he'll have more to say about it in 2 weeks. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
Wall Street closed higher.
At the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 275 points. The S&P 500 added 31 points. The Nasdaq rose 96 points. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
Medishare.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with Medishare and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just...
It is refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
What I keep telling people love Medishare, and they love saving money. A typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for Medishare. It is so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to, and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
He's now in expedited removal proceedings, so he has a credible fear interview that he must go through.
A man who worked as a translator for U.S. troops in Afghanistan is being detained by federal agents in San Diego during his immigration case.
The man's name is Syed Nazir. He was arrested by ICE agents in June following a mandatory immigration hearing at the federal courthouse in downtown San Diego. His attorney, Brian McGoldrick, says Syed has a good chance of proving he belongs in the U.S., but he's pretty despondent.
He worked so hard for our government, he came here expecting to be able to make his case for asylum. And instead, he's being detained.
McGoldrick says that his client is currently being held in Otay Mesa during the court process. I'm John Fink.
New research shows that a potentially deadly fungus, dubbed Pharaoh's curse fungus, could fight cancer.
Scientists from the University of Pennsylvania modified molecules from the fungus to make a new compound with cancer-killing properties. The fungi's official name is Aspergillus flavus and is found in decaying leaves, compost, trees, plants, and some crops. The fungus can cause respiratory issues for those with weakened immune systems or on certain medications. I'm Rob Martier.
This weekend's 4th of July barbecue is going to cost a little bit more this year.
A new report from the Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute says food and beverages for the typical 4th of July barbecue for 10 people will cost $130 this year. It's up a little over 2% from a year ago. The increase is due in large part to the price of ground beef, which has risen over 7% from last year. I'm Mark Mayfield.
And I'm Anthony Lucero, USA Radio News.
As a doctor, I've seen too many women with breast cancer who could have avoided extensive treatment or even death had they just gotten an annual mammogram. Every major medical organization experienced in breast cancer recommends annual mammograms for women 40 and older. Please, if you're 40 or older, get a mammogram every year. If you have a family history or other risk factors, talk to your doctor about what's right for you. To find an accredited center, visit mammography-saves-lives.org.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
product claims without proof.
Every trucker on the road has heard product claims about an additive that simply didn't match their experience. Proof is found from third-party testing by a recognized, credible source. That's proof. Hot Shot Secret's Stiction Eliminator will improve your performance and fuel economy. For proof, we engaged the Ohio State University Center of Automotive Research to conduct an EPA-certified fuel economy test with Stiction Eliminator on a FedEx truck. A 2006 B500 Freightliner with 247,000 miles. The test showed a 3.6% increase in highway driving fuel economy from Stiction Eliminator, an oil additive. The complete report from OSU is available for download at hotshotsecret.com. That's proof.
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hotshot Secret, powered by science.
Keep the bugs off your glass and the Smokies off your ass. This is the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
That another hour underway as we roll into a Taco Tuesday, first day of July. Here it is, July 1. All right, it's 844-844-3388. As we're going to head down to Phillip in Florida. I was looking from a post here a couple hours ago, meteorologist Chris Nunley, who said some parts of Florida we'll see over a foot of rain over the next 7 days, with other coastal areas along the northeast and north central Gulf Coast seeing several inches of rain. Plan accordingly if you have beach plans this week or this weekend. So he's kind of highlighting a region from New Orleans to Mobile in Alabama to Tallahassee, then all the way down around the western coastal areas of Florida to south of Tampa, being in that zone that could see a lot of rain, and then lighter amounts on the eastern side of Florida, according to his map here. All right, and I guess, I don't know, is that part of what they're talking about, maybe that front that's going to sink and just stall out there and rain? Morning, Philip.
It sure is. Morning, buddy. Yeah, it sure is. It's part of that deal that's coming over this weekend. It's going to be developing. It actually could develop over us. They said that, the storm could, but. Yeah, but you think about it, 12 inches over 7 days. Mm-hmm. That's not too terribly bad than what we get in some of our afternoon thunder showers, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been dry the last few months. I mean, you think about a few months ago, we had 4 inches of snow on the ground up in Pensacola. And since that time frame to now, we haven't had as much rain as you think we would have in this time frame. So I think nature's making up for it this week. So it's just one of them things, I mean, it's one of those deals. It's part of living down here,
mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I said, if you want to know if you need flood insurance, if it's raining at your house, you need flood insurance. Because that's pretty much what they're saying now, because there's no telling what kind of storm we could have. I mean, we've had storms in the last 2 years. It's 1,000-year storms, this 100-year thing.
Yep.
That's I mean, we've had the amount of water we've had in the last 2 years, even down here. I mean, in the last 10 years, the amount of hurricanes that we've had in the last 10 years and the amount of stuff we've had going on, not to mention our normal afternoon thunderstorm thing with the sea breeze that's going across the state. It's been a lot. I did a little research, Steve, yesterday after I got a little burned up about that thing down there in the Everglades. Did you get that interview I sent you with the governor?
I don't know that I got a chance to view that or not. You did send me the link, yes.
Okay, last weekend, the governor got with one of the individuals from Fox, and they did a tour of the facility,
mm-hmm.
and he showed exactly what the facility does, and this is just, everybody's getting so bent out of shape about it. This facility is just no more than a temporary setup so they can move things quicker in the process. I guess they're having a lot of issues with this, so they just want to make the process quicker. It's all it's there for. It's just to make the process go a little smoother. So they put it on the runway. The reason why they put it there is everybody will be brought in an airplane. Everybody will leave in an airplane, whether they're going back to the United States to wherever they came from or whether they're going deported, whatever they're going to. This facility is just a place to do the paperwork and get everybody, I guess you would call, segregated out in what they needed to do. You know what I mean, Steve? Where they put everybody out and get everybody set. And it's going to have full shelters. They're going to have heat. They're going to have air. They're going to have food. They're going to have bathroom facilities. They're going to have shower facilities. Everything is set up right there. They're going to have facilities to sleep in. Everything is a big tent. It's like no different than like if you go to somebody's big old parties and you see these big, huge tents they set up, well, these mammoth things. It's just a bigger version of that. It's a portable city, basically, that they use during the hurricanes. And that's what this Alcatraz thing that everybody's raising fuss about. There's no fences, okay? The only people that will drive in and out of this place will be the people that are working there, okay? So they bring them in an airplane, they get processed, they either stay in the country, they get on another airplane and stay in the country, or they get on another airplane and they're deported and taken to wherever they have to go. End of story. When the levels come down, the temporary structure goes bye-bye. It's not a hard concept. So I don't know why everybody's raising such a daggone fuss about it. It's no different than what we set up down here after a storm. And that's where basically they got the idea from this, Steve. You know, because they set up these portable deals for like when electrical workers have to have a place to stay when they're waiting for the storm to come. Or we have people that are been handled by the storm, you know, after the storm passes, then they have infrastructure that's messed up. People have to stay somewhere. These are the temporary cities that they set up. Have you ever heard of a company, Steve, called Sunbelt?
Not familiar.
Okay, Sunbelt is one of the largest rental companies I know it's in the United States. It's all over the place down here. A lot of the equipment and everything that they have there, it's Sunbelt. So why are we going to be paying for rental equipment? We're not. That's another thing we need to look at here. If you look at this situation, not all that equipment belongs to the state of Florida. We're renting a lot of that. And we're going to be handling federal folks as well. It's not going to be just migrants for the state of Florida. We're also going to be helping out the federal level with this, from what the governor said. So this isn't just a state of Florida thing. This is a national thing. This is our nation. So, I mean, it is what it is. I just thought I'd do a little research, let everybody know that it's not the poorest bad place that out in the middle of nowhere, which it is in the middle of nowhere. The place that it's in is an airport that was built in 1968. It was intended to be a backup airport to Miami because of growth. They were actually going to build a monorail train, which I thought was kind of funny because that's what I do for a living. And they were going to build a monorail train from there to Miami. But the funding never materialized for it. This airport was actually going to have six runways the size of the one it's. Think about it, that's a pretty big area. And it was going to have a full airport infrastructure with buildings and everything. So it never materialized because of funding, and it never materialized because it's one of them situations. They couldn't get things going in the right direction to finish the airport out. So they've used it as training all these years. It's training. And they're still going to continue using it as a training airport. That's what the governor said. So everything that normally happens at that airport is also going to be happening with all this immigrant and the Alcatraz, whatever y'all want to call it, this detention center. That's what I think the real name of it is called, is a detention center. And that's what's going to happen there. So hopefully that helps people out understanding what the situation is, Steve. That, that's what I want to do. I I'd rather help somebody out instead of complain and pee and moan about it.
Right.
Like I kind of was doing yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But that's the thing. I'd rather have somebody understand what the deal is instead of getting such a big uproar about it, And the president's going to be there today, as far as I know. I don't know. Are you still hearing that?
That's what that's everything I'm seeing says he's going to be there. Yeah.
And they talked a little bit about that. And the governor said, well, if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. The governor said, we have the facilities here. He can land his airplane right here on this runway. He can be here, and then that's fine. We can take this runway is big enough to accommodate a 747, not a problem, which is a big airplane.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's pretty much it on that deal. Other than that, I'm just waiting. I mean, it rained last night. We've had them come in through. They've been coming up from the south, and it started about 10 o'clock at my house, and probably bumped off about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And that's the way it's going to be. I mean, this is just part of the storm deal. I mean, that's part of the cycle. I mean, you guys had some pretty good rain move through there, haven't you, Steve, the last few hours?
Yeah, we've had nothing exceptionally heavy. It rained off and on through much of the day. At the moment, the rain has stopped anyway.
Mm-hmm. I know from what I've been seeing, down here, we're going to have rain all week. And 4th of July, they're talking possibly 4th of July down here might be a bust. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. And you were talking about the firework thing with a few of the guys. I'm not a fan of the firework thing. Nothing personal. I'm just not a fan of it. I mean, main reason is I'm the guy that has to sleep, and I work 6 days a week, and I work holidays. So I'm the guy that has to sleep and deal with all that mess. You know what I mean, Steve? That's just me personally. That's just my situation. It's nothing against the folks with the fireworks or whatever, but I don't like it myself. It goes crazy in my neighborhood. I have to deal with it though. I don't complain. I just deal with it. It's one of them deals, So, but that's all I pretty much got today, and y'all have a good one.
I had one other thing I wanted to ask you about there. How about what are your local media reports saying about the dad that jumped overboard to rescue his daughter from the Disney ship?
That one there is kind of confusing me, buddy. Reason being is, on those ships, they have a big old piece of plexiglass. I mean, you've been on those ships before, you know. They have a big old piece of plexiglass about 4 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
How'd this little girl get up there and get over that 4 foot piece of plexiglass? That's my question.
Okay.
And I work for the company. And I saw the news report, and, I know we put a lot of safety in our boats. A lot of safety. There's a lot of things that are thought of because we have a lot of children on those ships. You look at a Disney cruise, they always have the reputation for the little folks. It's mom and dad, and to be quite honest, a lot of people don't go to Disney for that reason, that are wanting to go out and have a good time and drink a little bit and go gambling and that kind of stuff. But the Disney ships have, over the years, have changed now. There's a lot more stuff for mom and dad to do as well as the kids. And they've changed a lot of things. But that's the part that kind of confuses me. And then that was her father that jumped over. He did no more than what's your fatherly instinct there, Steve? You got to protect your kid, right?
Right. I mean, but I'm thinking to myself, if young Aubrey, were to go overboard, I guess me or Stephen would jump in after her. That's, I don't know. I'd be afraid. I don't know. I think I'd drown first.
Well, I'm not a very good swimmer. That's why I don't do cruises. That's something else. Don't take nothing personal about it. I'm not a cruise guy. But, I don't, if my child was like that, I'd do the same thing. I could, and the kudos to that guy. I would put my life on the line for my children. I would. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, that's just the way I am. Now, I'm different than a lot of folks are, but That's the way it is. That guy did no more than what his parenting instinct told him to do.
Yeah. And the
you
one
know what I
thing-
mean?
Yeah,
And God intended him to do it.
I had not seen. Was he able to grab a life jacket out of the closet in the cabin first, or have you seen anything, or did he just jump over and help her to tread water till the rescue boat got there?
From what I seen, the pictures I seen of the boat, because they had a little lifeboat that they went out there and got him in. Him and the little girl both didn't have life jackets on.
Wow. Okay.
So he just dumped his shoes, and he was in full clothes the whole shot. He went for it.
And
and the little girl had full clothes on too.
And they were able to tread water until the rescuers got there. That's amazing. Yeah, some are saying nominate this guy as Father of the Year. But yeah, others are saying, again, kind of questioning that. Well, how did the little girl that's small be able to get up on the? Did Daddy set her up on the railing or something? And I don't know. That's questions we don't have answers yet to, but I mean, a lot of folks are asking.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
Hello, Big T here with Diesel Power Group. Listen, if your truck's in a repair center and you think it's being misdiagnosed or worse, being overcharged for an overhaul or an engine replacement, you need to stop and call Diesel Power Group now. Allow us to build the DPG solution that is right for you, not the repair center. We have over 4 decades in engine remanufacturing experience and specialize in Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Mack, International, and John Deere. DPG offers an industry-leading warranty and turnaround times. We want to earn your trust every day. Don't believe us? Challenge us today by calling 574-594-5888 or visit us at dieselpowergroup.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are available 24/7. Mention code 374 and receive a $200 rebate towards your major failure repair.
So the story says the father took immediate action when his daughter fell overboard from the Disney cruise ship over the weekend, Sunday. The ship was returning to Fort Lauderdale when the crew alerted to a man overboard and went into emergency mode. The little girl had reportedly fallen from deck 4, but it's still not clear exactly how that happened because, like Philip just mentioned, you've got the plexiglass safety barriers to prevent just this sort of thing. But when the girl's dad realized she had gone overboard, he jumped in after. Meanwhile, cruisers said that the ship's crew quickly launched life preservers and a rescue boat to bring the pair out of the water. So it was all caught on camera as other passengers were watching this unfold. The statement from the cruise line said the crew aboard the Disney Dream swiftly rescued 2 guests from the water. We commend our crew members for their exceptional skills and prompt actions. We're committed to the safety and well-being of our guests, and this highlights the effectiveness of our safety protocols. Additional video footage showed the moment the rescue boat carrying the crew members and the father with his child was raised to the cruise ship. Still images showing the rescue crew and the pair that were saved. Social media users, saying Father of the Year. And others said, no, that's what it means to be a great father. But what are your paternal instincts, right? Hey, what day is it? Mike?
Hey, Mike, do we do that today, tomorrow? I don't know. Hey, Mike, what day is it for holiday week?
For me, it's, I guess technically, it's hump day for me because it's a 3-day week. Yesterday was Monday, tomorrow's Friday, right?
Yeah, 5 a.m. there, right?
Yes, sir.
So anyways, they were saying it's from the time that girl fell in the water to the time they were being retrieved was 20 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
Probably less than 20 minutes. So the people, the employees on those ships, they train for this stuff every day, whether you just don't see it happen in the background, but they always have some sort of training going on every day on those ships of emergencies and how to handle it and react to it. And they do them a couple different times a day because, their people work 24 hours a day on those ships, in a period. So they don't work the full 24, but, they're 12 and 12 a lot of times. So anyways, the amazing part is that when, number one, you're talking probably 30, 40 feet that they were at above water level to hit the water. So impacting water at that point, unless you're a skilled diver, is about like jumping into concrete.
Knock the wind out of you completely.
Well, yeah, and the only possible difference is that it's not flat water in the ocean. Between the ship going through it and the waves that are in the ocean, you got a good possibility of not hitting flat water at least. You're getting in one of the waves.
Yeah.
So, but the next problem is the propulsion on the ship. And we all know it's not just one big propeller in the back. It's no longer, the Titanic with the two big screws in the back and all that because of the stabilization and everything. So when you go in the water off a ship, you are right next to the ship, and you have a good chance of going into the propulsion system. And I think that's usually the big thing. They were saying last night how many people a year fall off. It was like 200 out of however many cruise passengers there were. There's like 212 people that fall off a ship every year, and I think they said the last time was 48 that were rescued. So your odds of being rescued from falling off a ship are very slim. And so the whole amazing part about this is from the time the girl fell off, even if he saw her fall off, by the time he could get to the edge to get off himself, unless he was right there on the edge with her to do it, you're 2, 3, 4, 5 waves apart. Well,
and
when you're on the water,
the separation between the two, and how were they able to get reunited in the water? Yeah, hold the thought. We'll return.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. Senator Lindsey Graham says it's too early to tell if Iran has abandoned their nuclear ambitions.
While appearing on ABC's This Week, the South Carolina Republican said the focus remains on Iran's intentions.
Does the regime still desire to make a nuclear weapon? The answer is yes. Do they still desire to destroy Israel and come after us? The answer is yes.
The president has also maintained the nuclear program was destroyed. Mark Mayfield.
Brian Kohberger is accepting a plea deal that's going to drop the death penalty for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students back in November 2022. Longtime defense attorney Danny Cervalos.
If you start interrogating the defendant, that's when they start going off script and maybe trying to massage the facts or give their version. And then the judge says, well, then I can't accept this plea.
Kohberger is expected to plead guilt, committing the 4 murders and serve life in prison. He will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and waives all right to appeal. From America's News Network, this is USA Radio News.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
Hello, Big T here with Diesel Power Group. Listen, if your truck's in a repair center and you think it's being misdiagnosed or worse, being overcharged for an overhaul or an engine replacement, you need to stop and call Diesel Power Group now. Allow us to build the DPG solution that is right for you, not the repair center. We have over 4 decades in engine remanufacturing experience and specialize in Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Mack, International, and John Deere. DPG offers an industry-leading warranty and turnaround times. We want to earn your trust every day. Don't believe us? Challenge us today by calling 574-594-5888 or visit us at dieselpowergroup.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are available 24/7. Mention code 374 and receive a $200 rebate towards your major failure repair.
Tired of the guesswork when it comes to your load weight? With Rightway, stay in control on the road and on the DOT's good side. From onboard load scales to Bluetooth-enabled monitoring, Rightway helps truckers and fleets cut down on time, fines, and fuel waste, all without hitting the scale. Smarter hauling starts here. Want more details? Head over to rwls.com. Rightway. Drive more, scale less.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
ultra-low sulfur fuels.
Fuel has 2 purposes, combustion and lubrication. Ultra-low sulfur fuels have diminished the fuel's ability to lubricate. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment with LX4 restores lubricity, protects your engine, and optimizes performance.
Everyday diesel treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout. When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust, quality you depend on.
We know you'd like to be cuddled up real tight with a sweet little thing all night. But instead, you've got Steve Sommers. It's the Overnight Drive.
All right, coming up more on the Big Beautiful Bill. Busy, busy day. And an update. Trade negotiations. How are things proceeding? Yeah, it looks like we're maybe making some progress with Canada. Things changed pretty dramatically in a few short days' time over the weekend there. Meanwhile, we left off kind of talking about the man overboard scenario. Yeah, I mean, because at the speed the ship is going, in a matter of, in a matter of seconds, you're going to be so far further away from the first person that went overboard. How they were able to get back together is amazing.
That he was actually able to find his daughter in the ocean, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves away, and be able to, get back to her. and be able to, be with her for the rescuers to get the both of them. And then is hard enough for the rescuers to even, they did have, people on the ship, being able to be, an elevated height with, I'm sure, binoculars and whatever other technology they can use to look out into the ocean surface that, to be able to pinpoint where everybody is. But, yeah, so I don't know if anybody was able to grab one of the life rings and throw a life ring over, run down the deck and, get from wherever they were on the ship to the back and just heave ho a life ring to them, or, and that's one of those other things that, we kind of joke about it, doing the muster drill and all that, but to kind of know where emergency things are on the ship just as a passenger, in case something happens, and know your surroundings and, know where fire extinguishers are and life rings and, how to get, I mean, other than trying to find a crew member, how would you even, it's not like there's a fire pull thing on the side of the ship saying man overboard, you don't just go and pull the little lever, but anyway, so I'm glad the outcome was what it was. I'm glad it didn't take any longer. I mean, if it would have, it required being a longer process, that would have required them being in the water longer. Now, I know water temperature isn't as big an issue there as it is in other cruises, but you have the other things in the water too. So it's not just the fact that you're in the water; it's where you're in the water and what's in the water with you. So, but anyway, so all a great outcome and all that. So, I think Phillips' deal down there with that airport and the Everglades Alcatraz Alcatraz is the fact that everybody's, just it's pretty much the name of it, and they're trying to make a deal like it's brand new, and as Phillips says, it's a fully established location, and they're trying to make it anything they can say to say against it. They're the protesters are going to protest against. So they're just trying to use any way they can protest against it, and but it's kind of hard to protest against an established location that's already built. They're not building anything new, as Phillips said, and Sunbelt Rentals they're an equipment, pretty much equipment and pretty much anything you want to rent type of rental place. So they I believe are nationwide. They're kind of like a United Rental, and so between the two of them, they're kind of like the Ryder and Penske of the rental service. So I mean, you can get anything from a little, any lawn and garden tool you want, all the way up to backhoes and excavators and, gigantic earth moving equipment. And so, and as well as, structure type stuff as well. So they got things pretty well in hand. I'm sure there's already government contracts involved with them. So, it's not like, well, of course, who knows what the rate is on the government contract, but who made that deal? But we'll have to find that out in the end, I guess. And so, anyways, weather-wise, I think we might be getting caught up on our water deficit that we had here, Your Honor. We had some pretty good storms go through last night, starting in the evening there, and did get out and get the hayfield mowed over. I got two different riding tractors I use there, and one just cuts the grass and leaves it lay on the ground, and the other one I can actually vacuum the lawn with it, which is what I use mostly in the fall and the wintertime, the fall, and for picking up all the oak leaves that we have. And so anyways, I went out and clipped the grass with the one that just drops it on the ground there, because it was about 8-9 inches tall. It's been so long since we've been out on the lawn. I can't even tell you the last time we mowed the lawn. It's probably been well more than a month. And it's just been wet. You just can't get on it. Wet. So yesterday was a dry day before the showers started with the unsettled atmosphere. So got out, got it cut, and the wife's like, "What are we going to do with it?" I said, "Well, I just plan on leaving it lay and dry like hay until and then I'll go out the next time and use the other tractor and suck everything up when I mow the next time here, hopefully, around the 4th of July holiday, because after we get through tomorrow with this unsettled atmosphere, we're actually supposed to have clear skies, weather-wise, all the way until Monday. The next day they're calling for rain showers. So if all that goes as planned, but But I know when we started out this year, we had an 8-inch deficit December 31st, like 8 or 8.5-inch deficit. And then, I don't know, sometime in the spring here when it was kind of dry, they were starting to squawk that, we had like a 3 or 4-inch deficit at the time. Now how does all that work? That January 1st, that 8 inches just went away. So were we still having deficit from that, or did the groundwater magically raise on the 1st of January?
I mean, what are they?
If it
did you close out 2024 with an 8-inch deficit, and then they reset the gauge, and then you move forward from there?
Reset the gauge, yes. Yep, January 1, the gauge went back to 0, and so anyways. But I think with what we've had for rain now since, I don't know, whenever in June, those rain's been off and on, pretty heavy coming. But they were saying last night there was tornado warning, hail warning, 1-inch hail warning north of Baltimore, heading up the I-95 corridor towards Philly. It's a pretty regular path for our storms to follow that way. So they were sending everybody to strong shelter and watching out. So I don't know. It was all radar indicated on the news. There wasn't any visual reports of anything, so I'm not sure if anything ever did fully develop. But at that point, they were saying in the next couple hours there could be another 2 to 3 inches of rain at that point. So I'm not sure how much really came down through there. The traffic cameras they were showing was showing pretty heavy rain there on 40 and 95, which run pretty much parallel to each other. So but anyway, so hopefully everybody worked out good. Power kind of flashed on and off a half dozen different times. We must have a limb on our main line that comes into our little backwoods area there, so it's bouncing a limb on the wire, causing the power to flicker. But at some point we'll lose power altogether because of it. But we'll wait till then to find out where the problem is. But anyway, so speaking of problems in the interstate, what in the heck happened out in Hagerstown, Maryland yesterday morning, Your Honor? How come there's a wind turbine on both sides of the highway, eastbound and westbound, blocking the whole? How does that happen? That's your part now. Tell me.
I asked the same question. I mean, obviously, your local media should have covered it. I mean, what I was seeing when they were trying to get the thing, righted and back on the right side of the end is it like a hook and ladder truck where you have, a driver in the front and a driver in the back kind of thing, separated?
I don't know if they drive, if there's a driver in the back or if they're just steerable axles. But yeah, the wind turbine actually makes its own trailer. So
okay, that's what I thought.
The one end of it, the big end of it, ties onto the truck, where the fifth wheel is, and then the back end has its own little axles back there that attaches to it. So I guess something went cattywampus or haywire with the back axles that made the back end go across the median and end up on the other side of the highway, so that it blocked all of eastbound and all of westbound traffic on Interstate 7. So I would assume the only way to get it back is big rotating wreckers and pick it up and shift it, as far as they can, and then have to disconnect and rehook and then, get all their rigging and everything set back up so that they can rehook and shift it and get it all back onto the right side of the highway where it belonged there. So whichever direction it was traveling in. So I'm not sure where it was coming from or going to, but yeah, it definitely looked like it definitely caused one heck of a mess. And so anyways, I guess it'll be interesting to try to get the rest of the story on that. I didn't get to see by the time I got done cutting the grass, I didn't get in to see the early news there. So I didn't get a chance to find out what happened with that. And even the stuff I saw last night, they were showing the dramatic pictures of it across both sides of the highway, So, but yeah, I'd be glad not to be in that driver's position right now to have to try to explain what happened or try to figure it out. So, but anyways, I guess that's one of the challenges of hauling oversized, Your Honor. By the looks of what Q-Ball's doing, he's moving into bigger and better things with that Tim Gentry there. So they're maybe maybe one of them can call in and explain what happens when you start hauling these humongous size, oversized loads there. And speaking of that, how are they making out there in, what is it, Wyoming? Where is it? They're moving that 1.5 million.
Yeah, the I-70, I-80, load. Which was I-70, I think. I can't remember. What the heck? Yeah,
I think it's 80.
80, the 4.5 million pound transformer, yeah.
Yeah, big thing out there. So, but other than that, we got one more day of this unsettled atmosphere. So during the day today, I don't think it's supposed to be anything drastic. But sometime in the afternoon, start looking to the skies and maybe planning on taking cover if you're parking somewhere, and be aware of your parking area, because if there's the amount of rain they're talking about for this afternoon, which is supposed to be more than yesterday, you do not want to be in a low area that can possibly have flooding. So just kind of be aware of your area, because the Baltimore, the whole place from Washington D.C. to Philly has a lot of low spots when water runs that it collects and builds up in, and it doesn't take long to get 3, 4, 6, 8 feet of water in some of these places. So just kind of be aware of your surroundings around here in this afternoon, this evening. So, but other than that, Your Honor, we're going to let you go on I guess an honorary hump day. I don't know, whatever today is. Figure it out.
Honorary hump day, Taco Tuesday. I don't know what to call it. All right, it is 844-844-3388. We return after this, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator.
Stiction, that sticky friction, undermines the performance of diesel engines and is difficult to remove from the oil system. Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator is a powerful synthetic cleaner that targets stiction, contains no harmful solvents, and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive. Our proprietary carbon nano lubricant is blended with Stiction Eliminator, filling in microscopic irregularities inside your engine, providing a smoother surface for enhanced lubricity, reducing friction and wear. Third-party ASTM testing verifies that Stiction Eliminator removes 2 times as much stiction than any alternative on the retail shelf. Use Stiction Eliminator to solve an existing problem or as a preventative maintenance.
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hotshot Secret, powered by science.
Tired of the guesswork when it comes to your load weight? With Rightway, stay in control, on the road and on the DOT's good side. From onboard load scales to Bluetooth-enabled monitoring, Rightway helps truckers and fleets cut down on time, fines, and fuel waste, all without hitting the scale. Smarter hauling starts here. Want more details? Head over to rwls.com. Rightway. Drive more, scale less. Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout. When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust. Quality you depend on.
All right, trade negotiations. Yeah, we are now into the 1st of July. And if memory serves, I think that 90-day tariff pause was it July 8th or 9th? So we're literally about a week away. And for those countries who have not made some sort of a deal, time is of the essence. According to the administration, Canada has been a very difficult neighbor to deal with. Over the weekend, via Truth Social, I believe it was, President Trump posted, "We've just been informed that Canada, difficult country to trade with, including that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, announced that they are putting a digital tax on our American technology, is a direct, blatant attack. And we're obviously copying the European Union, what they've done, and currently being discussed with us. Based on this tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions with trade on trade with Canada, effective immediately. Let Canada know the tariff that they will be facing to do business with the United States. Let's see, within the next seven-day period. With that announcement, apparently Canada got the word. Canada has rescinded their digital services tax in response to President Trump suspending the trade talks. So Canada's trying to get the negotiations back underway. All right, so Sunday, the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, said in a statement that he supports a resumption of negotiations toward I guess they've got a July 21 timeline set that was set out at the G7 summit there. All right, the first payments from Canada's digital services tax, which was enacted last year, and applies retroactively to the year 2022, were initially set to be collected yesterday. That would have applied to both domestic and foreign tech companies, including U.S. giants such as Amazon, Google, and Facebook, with a 3% levy. The decision from Ottawa's an about-face from Canadian officials earlier this month when they said they would not pause the digital services tax, despite strong opposition from the U.S. Canada's Minister of Finance and National Revenue said rescinding the tax will help to resume the negotiations on trade. This will allow negotiations of a new economic and security relationship with the U.S. to make vital progress and reinforce our work to create jobs and build prosperity for all Canadians. How things can change in a very short order. Meanwhile, a motorist, a YouTuber, in a Ferrari F40 is asking for assistance in locating a tanker truck driver who sideswiped him over the weekend, apparently. The $3 million supercar was being driven by a car enthusiast that has a YouTube channel called Supercar Ron, about 96,000 followers. According to the Instagram post about the incident, Supercar Ron was driving south on Interstate 15 near 1600 North on the border of Orem and Linden, Utah, just before 10 o'clock Saturday evening, last Saturday, when the accident occurred. He said, my Ferrari F40 was sideswiped by a semi-truck pulling a large tanker. The semi-truck was a darker color, seemed newer, and very obviously knew that he had sideswiped me. Unfortunately, due to the damage to the vehicle and the fact that the semi-truck essentially performed a pit maneuver on me, I was focused on controlling the car and staying alive. As a result, I was not able to get the name of the company on the side of the truck, he says. We need some help tracking down this person. Hit-and-run drivers need to be held responsible. If you know who this could be, or if you are in the area southbound I-15 about 10 p.m., near North Orem or Linden, and might have some dash cam footage. Please let me know if you have any video or any other surrounding businesses that have a view of southbound I-15, if you might have some sort of security footage. He does say a reward is being offered if we can find who did this. All right, about a minute before news break here. Plenty of room for you at 844-844-3388. As I said, another flurry of Supreme Court rulings coming down. We'll start with American Airlines, who was looking to team up with JetBlue Airwaves, will not be taking off after all. The Supreme Court rejected this past day the request by American to overturn a judicial decision that found the company's now scrapped Northeast partnership with JetBlue violated federal antitrust law. The justices turned away the appeal of the lower court's decision in a lawsuit brought by the Justice Department that led to the end of the proposed Northeast alliance. That would have let the two carriers coordinate flights and pool their revenue. American Airlines argued that the antitrust violation ruling by the Boston-based First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals wrongly embraced a hostility to collaboration between businesses. They go on with all the legal talk, but the Justice Department under President Trump has continued to defend the government's victory in the American Airlines JetBlue case, saying the First Circuit's ruling upholding a judge's decision blocking the alliance rested on uncontroversial antitrust principles. All right. It was looking to be American Airlines, the nation's largest, and JetBlue, the sixth largest. We're looking to kind of join forces there. All right, much more to come. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust, quality you depend on.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Fuel additives.
the purpose behind most fuel additives is to impact performance of your diesel or provide protection to your fuel system. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment provides both performance enhancement and protection with 6 key components. This fully formulated premium fuel treatment includes the performance-enhancing cetane boost, injector cleaner, and LX4 lubrication, as well as protection against water with a demulsifier and rust inhibitor, plus a stabilizer that minimizes fuel filter clogs. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. The man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in 2022 pled guilty to avoid the death penalty.
Brian Koberger's trial was set to start in August, but a hearing has been set for Wednesday where he's expected to plead guilty. The plea deal will allow him to avoid the death penalty. He would serve life in prison without the possibility of parole. Koberger is accused in the stabbing deaths of Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, Kayla Gonsalves, and Ethan Chapin. I'm Brad Ford.
The Sean Diddy Combs jury is returning tomorrow morning after deliberating for 5.5 hours today.
The foreperson sent 2 notes to the judge Monday, one expressing concern that juror 25 can't follow the judge's instructions on the law. He sent a note back saying they're legally obligated to do so and to continue deliberating. They did, and sent another note to the judge just before they adjourned, asking about the distribution of controlled substances. The 8-man, 4-woman jury is deciding Diddy's fate in his federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he could face life behind bars. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Americans looking for jobs are being influenced by their debt when it comes to their career choices.
A report by resume template site Zeti says 38% of survey respondents said they took a second job to pay their debts. Similarly, 37% said they took a job outside their industry or took positions they had no interest in just to pay debts. Zeti data shows that 71% of respondents have credit card debt, 37% have mortgage debt, 30% have an auto loan, and 23% have student loans. I'm Mark Mayhew.
AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gasoline is $3.18. Mono County, California is up to $5.85 a gallon, while Simpson County, Mississippi is down to $2.51. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
With all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police. At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA1. That's 800-JBS-USA1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA1 today.
The Justice Department said a hacker working for the Sinaloa cartel found an FBI official's phone records and used Mexico City surveillance cameras to track and kill agency informants.
The hacker worked for a cartel run by El Chapo. The hacker gained access to calls made and received by the official, as well as geolocation data. The hacker also used Mexico City's camera system to follow the FBI official and identify everyone he met with. The DOJ report said the cartel used that information to intimidate and kill potential sources. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
A man from Iowa City who fled to Jordan with the help of his parents to avoid an attempted murder charge is now going to face a bench trial.
Ali Yunus waived his right to a jury trial Friday in Johnson County Court. A judge will now decide his fate on charges of choking a woman until she lost consciousness during a robbery on the University of Iowa campus 3 years ago. I'm Craig Michaels.
A new app could play a key role in detecting wildfire hotspots and high smoke exposure.
Researchers at Harvard developed smart flames to identify where fires are more likely to burn, as well as where public health impacts are highest. They looked at Northern California's wildfire season in 2020 and found that areas treated with prescribed burns did not overlap with high-risk areas. If lands were targeted better, smoke exposure in the area would have decreased by 17%. The app can be used by policymakers to implement management strategies like prescribed burns. I'm Chris Caraccio.
And I'm Anthony Lucero, USA Radio News.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Now, don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
At Hot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Product claims without proof.
every trucker on the road has heard product claims about an additive that simply didn't match their experience. Proof is found from third-party testing by a recognized, credible source. That's proof. Hotshot Secret's Stiction Eliminator will improve your performance and fuel economy. For proof, we engaged the Ohio State University Center of Automotive Research to conduct an EPA-certified fuel economy test with Stiction Eliminator on a FedEx truck, a 2006 B500 Freightliner with 247,000 miles. The test showed a 3.6% increase in highway driving fuel economy from Stiction Eliminator, an oil additive. The complete report from OSU is available for download at hotshotsecret.com. That's proof.
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
And now, back to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
All right, we crossed over the midnight hour there on the West Coast. And welcome into a Tuesday. And normally a Taco Tuesday. Of course, with an abbreviated work week, Independence Day coming our way. We're live this morning. We will be live again for our Wednesday morning program. Then it's off for the Independence Day weekend. I'm pretty sure Ryan has our Monkey Gouger episode lined up as one of the playback fill-ins. Coming up either Friday or maybe Monday morning. All right. I see our friend, Rick in Columbus came across this. I don't know. Has Gilligan seen this? I bet you he'd love to win this one. It's called the Dream Giveaway. Would you like to win the King, Richard Petty's 885 horsepower outlawed Hellcat? Well, you could. The Dream Giveaway's been helping charities like New Beginning Children's Homes, Building Homes for Heroes, Healing for Heroes, and many more for years. With your help, you'll support charities like these while also being entered into a drawing to win the last ever car built by Petty's Garage. A Hemi-powered Hellcat autographed by the one and only King of NASCAR. They break down the prize. It is a Dodge Charger, the outlawed Hellcat Red-Eye wide body, 885 horsepower supercharged Hemi V8, the Mopar Direct Connection Stage 2 Performance Kit, Fiske F18 custom wheels and center caps, Catskin Richard Petty custom leather interior, the Magnaflow Catback dual exhaust, American Carcraft custom trim, cabin and engine bay, Lightning Trends custom lighting, Anderson Composites carbon fiber upgrades, and Petty's Garage updates throughout. How about that? Use the promo code HellCatFB and we'll triple your tickets. I guess that's if you enter through Facebook, giving you 3 times the chances to win. Plus, they said we'll cover federal prize taxes. What's the value on that? Sweet-looking car, outlawed. All right. Good morning, Senor Heatwave.
Oh, good morning, senor. Yeah, happy Taco Tuesday to everybody out there. I had mine from Jack and a Crack yesterday. I'll tell you what, they got the best horse meat tacos you can find anywhere, don't they? Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, that old Canadian Prime Minister really stepped in it big time when he done what he did. And it's funny how a lot of these countries, they don't have any cards in the game, as Trump would say, but they would play their, well, no pun intended, Trump card to try to get our Trump to kind of stagger back a little bit, and he always comes up with a pair of Trump cards that just make these other people go, ooh, yeah, maybe we ought to talk some sense. So, I really appreciate what Trump's doing. He's fighting for us instead of someone else's interest. And did I see that right yesterday that Ayatollah Khomeini, or whatever the hell that character's name is, put a fatwa on Trump? Did I understand that right?
It wasn't the actual Ayatollah. It was another, who the hell was it? The senior Iranian cleric issuing the decree against Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. But it is a fatwa.
Well, the only thing these people understand is violence. They just cannot seem to get away from the violence. I mean, in their book, it's okay to lie to the infidel, and you can stab them in the back when they're not looking. I think it's more than high time that we put a big old 4th of July firework right up the back side of their houses and let them know, hey, you don't mess with us. So it's just amazing. I mean, for a religion that had Mohammed allegedly go and slit 5,000 throats in 2 nights because they wouldn't listen to him, that's just not that's not really a religion I would want to be any part of. And listening to, of course, I don't know how long it's been on Facebook, but they had 2 Muslims on there, or Islamist or whatever. I couldn't tell you the difference between a Muslim and an Islam. You know what I mean? But they're here and they're like, oh yeah, our flag's going to replace the United States flag over the White House. You see, I think it's going to be a cold day in hell before that happens. But then again, with the crazies we got out there, you really don't know. They're making all that fuss about the alligator alley. That runway that they're using, that they're building this encampment on for these illegal aliens about to be deported. And I'm sure someone's probably done talked about it earlier this morning. I just got up about 40 minutes ago, but they're going to be living pretty damn nice for the time they're being detained over there. With medical, they're going to have air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ron DeSantis was saying, we're doing everything we can to make sure that their stay is going to be comfortable. They're living better than some people out here on the streets, and even some people there in the back countries. I don't know why other people are screaming and hollering, let them go, when they're the ones that are saying, you stole our land, give us our land back. It's like, well, if you're wanting your land back, why are you advocating for people to come here illegally to take your land? Well, this ought to be interesting tomorrow or later on today when Trump lands his big aircraft over there and sees how these people are being treated. And I guess is this the same area that they stage I won't call rescue workers, but those that work on power lines and other infrastructure whenever the hurricanes come in?
I don't know if it's the same location, but basically the facilities and whatnot, what are going to be, according to Philip, it's essentially kind of what they would set up in that kind of a case. You mentioned that earlier.
Okay, all right. Hell, if it's not going to be good for all these people screaming, you're hurting these poor people, then I wonder what kind of tune they scream when they're out of power and they're wanting to know, where's my people that come fix my power line? Soros must be paying them pretty damn good to be a bunch of idiots out there, So other than that, you got any big plans besides enjoying the fireworks show and keeping the dogs calm when it's happening? I know I got my ideas, but I'm sure I'm gonna be working those days myself.
Well, this will
a
be
bunch of honeydews.
Turbo's never cared about the fireworks. They don't bother him. He'll sit on the porch, or I'll put him in the. He don't care. Now this is going to be Ace's first ever, July 4. It'd be interesting to see what he thinks of fireworks.
Mm-hmm. They got any doggy pills that'll mellow them out like you have for a cat?
They do. Yeah,
you
they
might
do.
Want to see.
Yeah.
Okay. And you might want to have a big old bottle for Ace. So, but anyways, well, so, I really didn't have a whole lot to say. Like I said, I just got up, and I'm just kind of a day late and $1 short on the news and whatnot. But I like the sound of my voice on the radio, don't you? All right, senor, we'll let you go. You have yourself a good one.
All right, safe travels out there, right? You got it. Let me see. What else? Supreme Court. Yes, I shared the one case. What else did we have this past day? We touched on the American Airlines JetBlue. The U.S. Supreme Court turning away this past day ExxonMobil's bid to overturn a $14.25 million civil penalty that a judge imposed in a long-running lawsuit over air pollution at their Baytown, Texas refinery, the crude oil refinery. Exxon had asked the justices to take up the case after a lower court in December upheld the largest penalty ever assessed in a citizen-initiated lawsuit enforcing protections against air pollution under the landmark Clean Air Act environmental law. This particular suit, filed in 2010 by the Environment Texas Citizen Lobby and the Sierra Club, focused on Exxon's operation in Baytown of the largest petroleum and petrochemical complex in the U.S. They said the facility routinely exceeded limits under the Clean Air Act on emissions of harmful air pollutants, affecting the daily lives and health of people who live and work nearby by emitting toxic, carcinogenic, and ozone-forming chemicals. A Houston-based district judge in 2017 issued a $19.95 million penalty to Exxon, finding it was responsible for pollution from the Baytown complex between 2005 and 2013. The New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals threw out the penalty and ordered the judge to reassess it, resulting in that judge in 2021 issuing the new $14.25 million penalty, which the appellate court ultimately upheld. On appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, Exxon argued that the plaintiffs lacked legal standing to pursue the case and that the Fifth Circuit, like some other federal appeals courts, had adopted a novel standard to assess standing that the justices should reject. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative majority, and its ideological makeup has shifted to the right since that case was decided, a previous case, in a 7-2 ruling. The only currently sitting justice to participate originally was the conservative Justice Clarence Thomas, who joined a dissenting opinion by the late Justice Antonin Scalia. All right, so, and then the top court throws out rulings favoring transgender people in 4 states. They threw out appellate rulings in favor of transgender people following the recent decision upholding the Tennessee ban on certain medical treatment for transgender youth, you'll recall. They took no action in cases from Arizona, Idaho, and West Virginia involving the participation of transgender students on school sports teams. The court could say as soon as Thursday of this week whether they'll take up that issue in their next term. They had ordered the appellate judges to re-examine cases from Idaho, North Carolina, Oklahoma, West Virginia, involving access to medical care and birth certificates. Yeah, apparently the first thing they wanted to, in the Tennessee case, that's the one that they had to decide on first, which again they upheld. The Tennessee case, and I guess didn't have time to go through these other cases before the end of this particular Supreme Court session. Again, may revisit those cases in their next session. It is 844-844-3388 to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
Hello, Big T here with Diesel Power Group. Listen, if your truck's in a repair center and you think it's being misdiagnosed or worse, being overcharged for an overhaul or an engine replacement, you need to stop and call Diesel Power Group now. Allow us to build the DPG solution that is right for you, not the repair center. We have over 4 decades in engine remanufacturing experience and specialize in Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Mack International, and John Deere. DPG offers an industry-leading warranty and turnaround times. We want to earn your trust every day. Don't believe us? Challenge us today by calling 574-594-5888 or visit us at dieselpowergroup.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are available 24/7. Mention code 374 and receive a $200 rebate towards your major failure repair.
Yeah, my old friend, the aviation expert Jay Ratliff, shared an interesting little piece this past day. An event that changed aviation history forever. And it's a good read, he said. So what's the story? It was June 24 of 1982. British Airways Flight 9 flew into darkness, literally and figuratively, at 37,000 feet above the Indian Ocean, en route from London to Auckland. The Boeing 747 unknowingly entered a massive cloud of volcanic ash from Indonesia's Mount Galunggung. Moments later, one engine failed, then another, and another. Ultimately, all 4 engines stopped. In the cockpit, panic could have taken over, but Captain Eric Moody took a breath and reached for the intercom, stating, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small problem. All 4 engines have stopped. We're doing our damnedest to get them going again. I trust you're not in too much distress." Now, would that or would not send passengers into an absolute frenzy, a panic? Yeah, that line would go down in aviation history, not just for the dry British understatement, but for the sheer steadiness behind it. The aircraft began to descend rapidly, essentially gliding through ash-filled skies. The crew desperately trying restart procedures. At 13,000 feet, just minutes from potential ocean impact, one engine roared back to life. Then another. And another. Miraculously, all four restarted. Despite windscreen abrasion, no engine thrust for over 10 minutes' time, and barely any visibility, the crew managed to land safely in Jakarta. Every one of the 248 passengers survived. Investigators later found that volcanic ash, completely invisible on radar at the time, had choked the engines, causing flameouts. It was a terrifying first for commercial aviation, and it changed the protocols forever. But what passengers remembered most wasn't the ash, it was the voice. Captain Moody's composure under pressure became a model of leadership taught in flight schools and disaster response programs for years to come. He did not hide the danger. He did not sugarcoat the facts, but he remained steady and gave others the courage to be steady. It wasn't just a flight that got saved. It was faith in calm under chaos. What a story. Wow. All four, and I guess miraculously, luckily they were at an elevation, 37,000 feet at the time. Had they been, say, at 20,000 feet, they wouldn't have had enough time to get those engines restarted. It would have been a much different outcome, right? All right, a couple minutes from news break. Blind man will be checking in. Something about he had butterfingers today. Yeah, pushing the wrong buttons. Eagle will rejoin us. Got some truck driving issues he wanted to discuss this early Tuesday morning. Meanwhile, I haven't seen, is Lauren Weiss out there this week, the two-time world champion bull hauler? Yeah, I had a little story about an American cattle rancher, a guy by the name of Shad Sullivan, who is kind of sounding the alarm on what is being described as the war on beef. He says the elites are waging against the American people. He sat down with Glenn Beck to talk about it. He said it's coming from the elites. 85% of elites and super elites, as they call them. What is a super elite? Super elites are the ones that went to Ivy League colleges and have a doctorate. Just the elite are making $150,000 a year. They've gone to college, have one postgraduate degree. They're involved in the companies or countries. They just did a poll on these people, and 80+% say that Americans should not be allowed to eat beef or meat of any kind, he says. We got to remember that Klaus Schwab, what he said in the 2023 at Davos, he said, quote, "You will enjoy meat as a treat, but not for sustenance." And Sullivan says, I see him trying to do it. We all know beef is really the only animal that can provide total 100% sustenance to human life. Give you more on that. Interesting. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, 844-844-3388. Back after this.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. The man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in 2022 pled guilty.
Brian Koberger's trial was set to start in August, but a hearing has been set for Wednesday where he's expected to plead guilty. The plea deal will allow him to avoid the death penalty. He would serve life in prison without the possibility of parole. Koberger is accused in the stabbing deaths of Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, Kayla Gonsalves, and Ethan Chapin. I'm Brad Ford.
The Sean Diddy Combs jury is returning tomorrow morning after deliberating for 5.5 hours today.
The 4-person sent 2 notes to the judge Monday, one expressing concern that juror 25 can't follow the judge's instructions on the law. The 8-man, 4-woman jury is deciding Diddy's fate in his federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial. The music mogul is pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he could face life behind bars. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. You can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. We know being over the road isn't easy, but getting parts for your truck can be. Rainey's offers over 100,000 parts and accessories, from chrome to cab comforts, watermelon lights to necessary replacement parts. It's all available on our website. Got questions? Our team of experts has your back from start to finish with unmatched customer service you won't get anywhere else. Head to Rainey's.com to get $25 off any order over $250 with code DRIVE25 at checkout.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator.
Stiction, that sticky friction, undermines the performance of diesel engines and is difficult to remove from the oil system. Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator is a powerful synthetic cleaner that targets stiction, contains no harmful solvents, and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive. Our proprietary carbon nano lubricant is blended with Stiction Eliminator, filling in microscopic irregularities inside your engine, providing a smoother surface for enhanced lubricity, reducing friction and wear. Third-party ASTM testing verifies that Stiction Eliminator removes 2 times as much stiction than any alternative on the retail shelf. Use Stiction Eliminator to solve an existing problem or as a preventative maintenance.
Hotshot Secret Stiction Eliminator, available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hotshot Secret, powered by science.
Tired of the guesswork when it comes to your load weight? With RightWay, stay in control, on the road and on the DOT's good side. From onboard load scales to Bluetooth-enabled monitoring, RightWay helps truckers and fleets cut down on time, fines, and fuel waste, all without hitting the scale. Smarter hauling starts here. Want more details? Head over to rwls.com. RightWay. Drive more, scale less. When your injectors fail, your truck and your paycheck stop moving. At Industrial Injection, we remanufacture diesel injectors to perform better than brand new. Tighter specs, cleaner fuel delivery, and tested in-house by diesel experts. Plus, we build turbos, pumps, engine kits, and more, all backed by over 40 years in the diesel industry. It doesn't matter if you're running on modern common rail or legacy mechanical. We've got you covered. Call 800-955-0476 or visit industrialinjection.com. Knowledge you trust, quality you depend on.
Keep the bugs off your glass and the smokies off your ass. This is the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Back at it here. Real quick before we get back to the calls, let me finish up with the war on beef. Again, Shad Sullivan, the American cattle rancher, said these elites. Yeah, I hearken back to my dad. He's gone now, but he was a self-made rancher. Started with nothing. I said, Dad, what are we going to do? And he says, son, will never change America until they sit in the dark, cold, and hungry. And that's the truth. And he came from a place of suffering. He understood that. The elites will never understand the kind of suffering that makes them grow. Think about somebody on the side of the road with a flat tire. Those elites couldn't even change a flat tire. They couldn't do the most simple things that require real life. And here they are demanding and dictating how we're going to produce and how we're going to consume. Not only in America, but around the world. Yeah, there's one thing, however, that keeps the elites from all-out rule over the American people. Yeah, the war on beef. No more steak dinners. Morning to the blind man. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Really enjoyed hearing Buckwheat yesterday, and I hope he's listening because there's a children's program in 1947 called Let's Pretend, and they always start off singing the Cream of Wheat song.
Oh,
Cream
yeah.
of Wheat is so fun to eat. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Wow.
I think they would enjoy hearing that children's program. I hope we get to him. I'm wondering also, can he get WMAL on top of the mountain where he is? So that's really all I had to say. Like I said, I really enjoyed Buckwheat, and I hope he's listening, and I hope he can go on his phone and find the program Let's Pretend, and they can sing along with the Cream of Wheat song.
Very interesting. I can't recall I don't know if he's told the story of how she got that handle. Cream of Wheat. Seems like somewhere down the line he may have, but I can't off the top of my head recall what that scenario was. Meanwhile, the grandfather of the shooter that killed 2 firefighters and severely wounded a third Sunday in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, says his grandson wanted to become a firefighter. The Breitbart News reporting that he was a 20-year-old whose location was narrowed down, as we mentioned earlier, by tracking a cell phone. He had exchanged gunfire with law enforcement Saturday afternoon, early Sunday evening. His body later found in the woods. But his grandfather, Dale Rowley, says he wanted to be a fireman. He was doing tree work and wanted to be a fireman in the forest. And as far as I know, he was actually pursuing it. So he said it wasn't like he was a loner. He had no reason. I had no reason to suspect he would be involved in something like this. But Sunday night, after the suspect's body had been discovered on the mountain, the sheriff held a press conference in which he confirmed law enforcement's belief that the 20-year-old had started the fire on Canfield Mountain, then waited for those firefighters so he could ambush them. So the investigation continues. Was he disgruntled with, was he having trouble pursuing his efforts to become a firefighter, a forest firefighter? Questions we're looking to get answers to. All right, meanwhile, welcome back. Eagle, got some trucking issues? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I got a couple of things I want to talk about. The truck driving deal, Steve. We talked last night about the accident that they had over here in Texas. You got some more information coming out about this guy tonight. I think they said the guy was 27, 28 years old, Hispanic. I don't know. I've heard 2 different places where this man might be Puerto Rico or Cuban. I'm not sure exactly where what this man comes from. They never did get into detail if if he spoke English or who is this guy. They say he fell asleep, is what they say. They're not giving the identification. I don't know if you know if the name of the trucking company he was running for.
No.
You can't. Yeah, they're not giving the detail. You can't see it in the photograph. Luckily, it wasn't no Amazon. We ain't talking about Amazon, so that's a good thing. Amazon not involved in this one, but don't know who the man drove for. But like I said, Steve, this is what the point I was trying to get to was the sleeping. I've talked to you about this in the past. If you're driving a truck, this is going out to the new drivers, people that's less than 6 months or a year or whatever. These companies, a lot of companies, Steve, will try to push these drivers, and my company is not like that. They want you to run your full 11 hours. Your driving time every day, they want you to use up every second of it. And then that's when these drivers have problems, especially somebody that's not used to being under that type of pressure, and they end up falling asleep. No load is more important than your life, Steve. You already know that. A lot of people that call listening to me tonight know this. Well, if I get tired, pull the truck over and stop. And if you have to record your company, that's what I do. I record my phone conversations just like they record my phone conversations, and I'll call my company. If you feel like you're tired and you sleepy, all you got to do is call them and let them know. If they don't like it when you don't call and then the load is late. But if you're tired, you're tired. And if you have a dispatcher, if you call somebody associated with the company and they tell you that you have to continue on driving, that this load has got to be there tomorrow morning, or the company is going to lose a customer. That's too bad, because it's better to lose a customer than to cost your company millions and millions of dollars with losses. Because that's exactly what's going to happen if you fall asleep. And guess what? You'll be the one that goes to jail, not that dispatcher. This Hispanic man that had an accident on Saturday, Steve, he's in jail as we speak for 5 counts of murder. For what happened, and he'll be in jail for the rest. Well, I ain't gonna say the rest, but for a very long time. Meanwhile, that dispatcher is still doing their thing, still working, still making money. So, no dispatcher is gonna push me to the point to where I fall asleep behind the wheel of this truck. If I feel sleepy and I call in and they say continue driving, that's all I need, and they'll have a real big lawsuit on their hands because I don't put up with that. If I'm tired, I'm stopping the truck and I'm taking a nap and I'm going to sleep, and that's the safest thing to do for you and the people on the road. But you see a lot of drowsy drivers out there, Steve, moving from lane to lane. They tired and they got that foot up their butt from the company telling them the load got to be late, so can't be late. So you don't want to be like this guy that was on TV that's in jail for the rest of his life. Now, one other thing, Steve, with the truck driving industry, right quick, and that concerns the deal that they still arguing about what they're gonna do with these speed regulators in these trucks, these governed trucks. I've noticed that a lot of trucking companies have actually sped up their trucks, not slowed them down in the last couple of years. The Warners, the Swifts, the Primes, these guys used to run 62, 63. A lot of those guys now are running 69, 70 miles an hour. A lot of companies are realizing that you're more of a safety hazard, Steve, rolling down the road 62 miles an hour. I don't know how many times, a couple of years when Prime was shut down, you would come up on a Prime truck running 62 miles an hour, and you damn near run into the back of him because he was going so slow. So they finally sped them up. So I think a lot of companies are realizing that in the government, they need to go ahead and just set the speed at 70. I think 70 is the best possible speed if they're going to put a governor on a truck. Any less than that, you're nothing but a road hazard. Especially, like I said, if you're in Texas where I live at, the speed limit is 75. You don't need to have a truck going down the road doing 62 miles an hour. All you are is a damn